Well, it's been an interesting 2.5 weeks.
It has.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, do find the defendant
Guilty. Did you expect that?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, obviously I knew that's a possibility.
Her words tell us that she was involved in this killing. Her actions and her words of texting Chad Daybell tell us the motives behind this murder. Chad and money.
911, where is your emergency?
This event was not planned or expected. It was shocking.
Come out this way, man.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense.
The Chandler Police Department did treat this event just like it was, self-defense, and a tragic family event.
We looked back through the evidence, the text messages and all that. So it was a little bit of back and forth, but all of us were pretty sure we already knew what we wanted.
It's just sad that this has happened to Charles, and she's given up her life as well. You know, it's sad.
Lori, where are your kids?
Nobody deserved this. Not one death in this was deserved.
6 years of walking the pits of hell every day, and about halfway through, I realized, okay, I'm gonna make it.
Oh, hey, it didn't quite work out right. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're making it. How y'all doing? Happy Mother's Day to all you mommies out there. And yeah, my microphone. I did it this way where it wouldn't be on my desk. And so it gets in the way. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Glad to see you here. Thank you for being here. It's a crazy day. I did kind of cut off last night or yesterday whenever I did my live stream. And so Jason is back. He's in the hospital and he's actually in ICU. So I've got that going on in my mind and it's a lot. So I was calm until all that. But it's a lot. So, all right, we're going to have to go right into this. That way we can get through it. You know, I mean, I don't even think we'll get through it because it's a lot. It really is. There's so much to this case. There's so many tentacles, just moving parts, and it's like elusive, and it's like you try to catch it, and it's like I can never catch it. So it aggravates the hell out of me. Oh, well, could be the lighting too. I am sitting kind of close. Ugh. Anyways, yeah, give me my space. All right. Thank you for the prayers. I appreciate that. Anyways, yeah, so it's been a heavy kind of day. It is what it is, you know. I never know with that boy, you know, oh my God, his health is so crazy, and unpredictable, which is very scary. It's reality. It's like a realistic thing. I have probably gotten quite a bit of trauma just from that, just from his health scares and, you know, just not knowing what to do. You know, just, it is scary. It is. And I mean, it's just realistic. It's scary because it's like, I don't know how to help him. And I ask and I'm like, well, I do the whole gamut. And I know that can be aggravating. Like when I'm having a panic attack and somebody's like asking me a bunch of questions and I need to be quiet. I just need to get my breathing under control. You know, I can't answer you right now. And it's going to sound like I'm snapping, but I'm not, you know. So I understand somewhat. I'm kind of relating his health problems to my mental anxiety, you know, my mental what do you call it? Here we go. Panic attacks suck. They're real. You can't see them. They're invisible, but they're so real. And I don't ever wish that on my worst enemy. Lori, even, you know. Anyways, how are y'all doing? Happy Mother's Day to you guys too. Well, I mean, he is still alive, so I mean, we've got that going for us, and he's a tough cookie. So I don't know, but I don't know enough about that, right? But I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you always. Thank you so much. Yeah, right. I wouldn't either, Trace. It's terrible, and it's like you kind of have to. Each panic attack is like a real. It's like it's first time. Oh my God! Let me stop stuttering. When you have a panic attack, it's like it's your first time. Each time, it's like, oh, I've never experienced this before, or I don't know how to explain that, but it's like I've gotten to a point where I know when I'm having one or on the verge of having one. And so I can do things to kind of tamper that down and try not to trigger it anymore. And then once it's in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, it's just a matter of time because now it's in my mind. But it's kind of like a control, just learning how to focus it. And do things to distract yourself from honing in on everything going on in your body. Like I'm super what do you call that? In touch, not in, I don't know, intuitive. I'm very in tune with my body. I know probably too much, and it doesn't help in the panic attack arena at all. So I find it, like back in the day, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, and I'm sorry, I'm derailing, but anybody else who, the damn bird, anybody else who, damn bird made me forget. Anyways, all right, we're just going to go until I remember it again. But I'm glad y'all are here. I just want to thank the moderators now because I will forget by the end. So it's like you're dying or about to explode. Thank you for saying what we all feel. Everybody who experiences panic attacks. See, like right now I'm stuttering. I don't know, which I feel like I do all the time, but it's hard. But I mean, what else are you going to do? It is what it is. And it's like the card you were dealt. So, and I'm like, okay, there must be some unresolved trauma somewhere in my body. So do I want to tackle that? I probably should. How do you go about it? I don't know. I don't know. I talk about pretty much everything here. Okay, whatever. But yeah, well, happy Mother's Day to you too, Angela. I'm so glad you're here. She's my ride or die. My Facebook. Hey, Rowan, to you. How are you? Glad you're here. I hope everybody else is doing good today too. And again, happy Mother's Day to the fathers out there who are being both mom and dad. And then when Father's Day comes, I say the same thing for both parents because, sometimes kids are just blessed or lucky enough to have at least one good parent, at least one. So, Cindy says, I do have a question about that Jeep. Was there someone driving while someone was in the back shooting? I mean, he had to shoot and speed off. Just me thinking. You're not alone in this. And I mean, I don't believe so. Because it's not Chad and Lori because they're both on surveillance in Rexburg. Plus they have Chad talking to Alex to and fro. Alex's trip in the Jeep all the way down from Rexburg to Gilbert, Arizona. And, they're on the phone like some hens, some old hens. Okay. And they're just chit chatting. Yeah. Felony money. You got it, Michelle. Glad you're here. And so there's that. And then, the MO, at least for Lori, when Lori has her hand in it, is at least history has shown, the evidence shows that Lori likes to, I guess procure. I don't really know which word to use, but she likes to choose a time whenever she knows for sure there's going to be interaction. So a kid exchange is Lori's pattern. She did it with whenever Alex attacked Joe with a stun gun at the kid exchange for Tylee. And then it happened again with Charles at a kid exchange. Unfortunately, it wasn't at, a facility where they, facilitate those things, but, or a police station or any kind of public place, would have really helped him or them, anybody. If you're in this situation where you're, going through a divorce or you're, co-parenting and it's not very good terms, or somebody's threatening your damn life, go meet at a public place. If you have, don't put yourself in a situation, because you never know. You don't know. And that's one way to kind of deter the demons. But so then we know that there's gunpowder residue test and everything. And we know that Melani's had her daughter because Brandon got shot at after he went and brought their 4 kids, I think. And I don't know for sure, but we'll find out in a little bit. I know for sure she had the youngest one, but at sometimes I hear it's the 2 younger ones, but I think anyways, so we'll find that out. But either way, she had her daughter, and I'm not saying that she couldn't, but there's no back seat in the Jeep because it's actually in the storage unit in Rexburg. Okay. So, I mean, kind of where are you going to buckle a baby? But then again, how are you going to keep a baby quiet for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long he sat there in wait. There are just things. There's also the green straw that's in the soda can in the middle. So we're going to find some things out, and it's going to be really freaking interesting, I think. I don't know. Rowan, to you. That's a good question. I think there's a report about the actual attack, and I think I have it actually. About that. So we're just going to kind of start from the top and, do what we do. All right. Now I got to figure out my layout. Here we go. Here she goes again. All right. There we go. Okay. Put that back on the damn stage right here. All right. So I found this awesome website. And, I don't know who did this, but thank you. Whoever did this, I can't find out who did it. But we're going to use it. Especially because I think it's really cool. So this says case files Brandon Boudreaux, and it says Lori Vallow Daybell conspiracy to murder Brandon Boudreaux. It's the Lori Vallow Daybell conspiracy to, I'm not saying that again. All right. Lori Vallow Daybell, the so-called doomsday mom, already convicted in the deaths of her 2 children in Idaho, convicted in the death of Charles Vallow, and I'm going to add Tammy Daybell. Let's not forget Tammy Daybell. And now faces additional charges in Arizona. Prosecutors allege that in October of 2019, Vallow conspired with her brother, Alex Cox, to murder Brandon Boudreaux, the ex-husband of her niece, Melani Pulowski. Boudreaux narrowly survived a drive-by shooting outside his Gilbert, Arizona home. All right, so let me take a drink real quick. Welcome in, everybody. Take a seat. And we'll just maybe do a little Q&A, towards the end. So unless it's something that anybody in the chat or the mods can answer, but maybe I can ask Donna to star some that she sees along the way. Please, Donna, if you will. Okay. So Lori Vallow, according to investigators, Alex Cox fired the shot that missed Boudreaux. And Lori Vallow played a central role in planning the attempted murder. There's a period. Okay. Prosecutors have pointed to digital evidence, including Cox's cell phone records, placing him near Boudreaux's home at the time of the shooting. Lori reportedly conducted suspicious internet searches following the incident, further tying her to the plot. And this says, what happened? So Brandon Boudreaux had just moved into his new home, at 1111 East Phelps and the previous Wednesday, following his separation from his soon-to-be ex-wife, Melani Boudreaux. They shared 4 children, which we know now Melani has another, she had another child with Ian, so she has 5. 555. It says Brandon explained the divorce stemmed from Melanie's beliefs, ongoing issues with her family, and concerns tied to a recent homicide in Chandler. That morning, Brandon had taken his 4 children out, dropping the older 2 at school. Here we go. All right, answers. The third at day camp and the youngest at a business daycare. No. What? No, come on now. What the hell? If she's at a daycare, then yeah, Melanie could be in there for sure. But I don't know. I've never seen this before at a business daycare, but I'll have to go back and listen to the tapes of Brandon before heading to the gym. As he drove home, he noticed a dark colored Jeep Wrangler parked near his driveway. As he slowed to turn in, he saw a large muzzle pointed at him from the open rear hatch. A shot was fired, shattering his driver's side window. Brandon sped away and called 911 from a nearby park. Investigators later found a tire track. Oh, a tire track. Is that what that picture was? Consistent with a stock Wrangler tire, and recovered bullet fragments from his vehicle. A nearby resident, Shirley Guzman, reported seeing a bald white male with a scruffy beard matching the description of Alexander Cox on the street days earlier. They went to they canvassed that whole neighborhood, okay? And they knocked on so many neighbors' doors or, people that were in the vicinity. I was like, wow, they really canvassed it. Whereas comparing it to the Chandler investigation, I'm not taking it for either one of these law enforcements. Okay. I'm just saying, compared to the Chandler investigation, when the cop was outside with Alex Cox initially, and then Lori and Tylee drive up, and Brandon, I'm sorry, not Brandon. The cop, there's a standby, guy. What do you call that? Oh my God. Just a looky-loo, I guess you could say. And he's like, go back over there. Go back over there. Like, they didn't want to talk to neighbors, it seemed. But over here in this investigation, they're like canvassing the neighborhood and knocking on everybody's doors and collecting Ring doorbell camera footage. And we have witnesses, so it's just interesting to kind of point those things out. Okay. So, excuse me. Then we go into a little timeline of events, and it says July 2019. Oh my gosh. Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, is shot and killed by Alex Cox in Chandler, Arizona. October 2nd, 2019, Brandon Boudreaux is targeted in a failed shooting attempt. He survives. December 2019, Alex Cox dies of natural causes, limiting firsthand witness testimony. 2023, investigators formally connect Lori to the Boudreaux shooting plot. April 2025, Lori is convicted in Arizona for conspiring to murder Charles Vallow. June 2025, which is scheduled June 2nd, coming up, Lori to stand trial in Maricopa County for the conspiracy to murder Brandon Boudreaux. And so this gives a little legal context, although I'm going to add something to it. Lori Vallow is representing herself oh my gosh, I can't effing talk today. Lori Vallow is representing herself in court, and we just can't wait. The prosecution contends she sought to eliminate Boudreaux to protect her niece's custody case and silence someone perceived as a threat to their doomsday eccentric plans. This case is seen as part of a broader pattern of violent conspiracies involving Vallow and Cox and Daybell and all the clan, right? But I mean, I thought there was a whole money-driven behind all this. Remember how Zalema said Lori told her that, oh, it's okay, move up here, you can live for free, basically live off Melani Boudreaux, because she had also gotten into some money by their divorce settlements and stuff. They owned some businesses together, Melanie and Brandon. And so as they were going through the mediator, he was having to buy her half out, or his business partners were having to buy her half out. And so she had like around approximately 300 grand at her disposal at that time. So plus Chad had his blood money or Tammy's blood money from her death. And I mean, you got to think Lori did not get the life insurance policy for my uncle's murder, so that sucked for her. So I'd say, yeah, she was mad. But anyways, so this is the timeline for Brandon Boudreaux, for the case for Brandon Boudreaux. October 2nd, 2019 at 9:15 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux reports an attempted shooting outside his home at 3875 East Phelps Street, Gilbert, Arizona. A shot was fired from a dark-colored Jeep Wrangler. The rear window of Boudreaux's Tesla was shattered. No injuries were reported. I want to grab something. Here I go. No. Okay, hold up. I need the multi-screens too. This one is so dang. I'm just looking at one screen and it's pretty big. And I'm too damn close to it. I'll tell you that. Come on. Okay. I forgot what I was doing. Y'all, thank you for putting up with my little squirrel brain. It's bad. It's really bothering me lately. I can't remember what I just said. Okay, Brandon, and it had to do with. Let me get back over there then. I'm trying to remember. This sucks. Hold on. Okay. Let me open this one up. Hold on. Just hold tight. If you don't mind. Where's the damn search button? This is bootleg. Let's see. I did Boudreaux. I said Boudreaux. So Boudreaux and Thibodeau walk into a bar. It was weird. It's giving me a whole different screen. Like I'm doing the same damn search. Let me just do this. I wish I could see what I'm talking about. Weird. There, the scroll. No. Hold on. Here. Okay. I hate pop-ups. Oh my God. It's like whack-a-mole. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Case file. Let's go there. I didn't need it for that one. Okay, whatever. I thought I would just go to a thing and just go to a window and it would just be nice. But I mean, this is interesting though. If we can, do y'all want to focus on that or the, I need to just stay with my path where I was, because this has to do with Charles, Lori, Idaho. It's all of it, but let's see. Let me see if it shows Brandon in here. October. Yeah, okay. But how much? Okay, so, but it's not detailed around that area. So that's a huge timeline for real. This is an awesome website. Whomever did it. It has crime scene. Hold on. Holy crap. Look, I'm going to show y'all what I see. Like, it's just got all the things. got Barry in there and everything. Joe Ryan's passport, his driver's license. Lori Vallow threats to kill Joe Ryan. I mean, this is a biggie right here. The Vallow business too. The what's it called? The whatever juice island or whatever it was called. Anyways, let me get back to this. Let me stop. All right. I'm just going to go here. So October 2nd, 2019 at 9:15 a.m. The attempted murder event. Brandon returns from the gym to his Arizona home when he is shot at with the bullet missing his head by inches. The shooter was driving a Jeep registered to then deceased Charles Vallow. 7:17 a.m. Alex Cox searches again for directions to Brandon Boudreaux from his current location, which was the LDS Temple at 3301 Greenfield Road in Arizona. Oh, yeah. So that's here. So this is where Alex went and just parked out, parked because, that's how he got it. Alex is cool like that. He just hangs out at LDS temples and church houses, lying in wait to. So this is another pattern. Is interesting, right? Because he just lurks, he's just like he's a creep. I swear he's a creep. Okay. So that's interesting. It really is. So here's this. Okay. So I'll show you that while I talk about this. So that's at 7:17 a.m. He searches for Brandon's address right there. Again, it says, and then 7:19 a.m., Alex starts traveling towards Brandon's house, which is, again, 3875 East Phelps. Oh, I ran into something. Hold on. I'm sitting here trying to move my mouse, and I'm jammed up against something. Okay. All right. Let's see. 2. Paste. Go. Let's see. So here's the route. Okay. I'm a visual person, so obviously I'm sure y'all figured that out by now. 7:19. Alex starts traveling towards Brandon's house. 7:20 a.m. Brandon Boudreaux left his home to drop off his oldest children at school and to exchange the younger kids with their mother, Melani Boudreaux. Okay, so which is it? Did he drop the third child off at some daycare or the little one off at a daycare? I mean, so that kind of contradicts itself in this own report. Anyways. And then 7:53, Alex and Chad's burner phones communicate as Alex's burner phone continues northbound. What the hell? Into Utah. This is jacked up. Hold on. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to show y'all so you can see what the hell. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If we're starting here and we're saying at 7:17 a.m., Alex Cox searches again for directions to Brandon Boudreaux's house. Okay. And he's right there at the damn temple. Why is he over here traveling through Utah? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't math. But unless I have it wrong. But I mean, it could be the phone. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not saying the people. I sound like a silly head right now. So I'm just going to take it from the top. October 2nd, 2019, attempted murder event. Brandon returns from the gym to his Arizona home when he is shot at with the bullet missing his head by inches. The shooter was driving a Jeep registered to then deceased Charles Vallow. 7:17 a.m. Alex Cox searches again for directions to Brandon Boudreaux from his current location, which was the LDS Temple, which is at 3301 South Greenfield Road in Arizona. That's this get up. Okay. That's here. So there's that. All right. And then I went into the wrong window. Let me go back. Okay. Then Alex, 7:19, Alex starts traveling towards Brandon's house. 7:20 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux left his home to drop off his oldest children at school and to exchange younger kids with their mother, Melani Boudreaux. And then it says 7:53, Alex and Chad's burner phones communicate as Alex's burner phone continues northbound into Utah. That don't make sense. Anyways, I'm just going to move along. 8:02, Alex's personal cell phone, which Lori Vallow had in Idaho, texts Lori's personal cell phone multiple times and had a 23-minute call. The police report notes that all of this correspondence occurred while Alex's burner phone was at Brandon's property. Oh, it's a weird way to write it. Let me go back here. 9:13 a.m. Brandon Boudreaux returned to his home. He noticed the vehicle was parked out in front of his home. I'm gonna have to rewrite this. When Brandon Boudreaux passed the vehicle, the individual inside of the vehicle fired a shot towards the driver's side front window, hitting the vehicle just inches above Brandon Boudreaux's head. So if we pause here, I just remembered what I was going to grab earlier. Right. This is second class over here. Yeah, get what you pay for. Okay. Let's see. Here, you can watch this while I retrieve this.
The courthouse.
Melani and her new husband, Ian, walked arm in arm into a courthouse in Mesa, ready to discuss a motion of contempt her attorneys filed against her ex, Brandon Boudreaux.
You can never cover up a lie with truth. You can only cover up a lie with another lie.
Brandon filed court paperwork fighting for primary custody of their 4 kids. He explained in his filing that Melani is involved in a cult where adults and children alike are being killed off like flies. Melani is Lori Vallow's niece. Lori and her new husband, Chad Daybell, are believed to be doomsday preppers. And there are 3 mysterious deaths and 2 missing children surrounding that couple. Lori moved to Idaho in the summer. And soon after, Melani moved in right next door.
First of all, we don't know that they've done anything bad. They've not been accused of doing anything of that nature of what you're suggesting. She went to live next to her aunt and people that she knew. She had reasons to want to do that.
Brandon also claimed in his court filings that Melani knew where Lori's missing kids are. Her attorneys strongly deny that.
As we've said, there's nothing that Melani would like more than to know where those kids are, but she doesn't know where those kids are.
Melani's attorneys say Brandon has not cooperated with the original custody agreement. In October, he took the kids to Utah for a planned trip to see his family, but they never came back. Text messages in the court paperwork show Melani asking Brandon where her children are. Meanwhile, he filed an emergency motion for temporary orders of legal decision-making and parenting time. Melani's attorneys said that motion was denied.
Her ex-husband didn't even show up today. We have no idea where the children are. We have no idea where he is.
Brandon told the court he is worried for the children's safety around Melani because he believes her uncle, Alex Cox, shot at him in Gilbert. Alex never faced any charges in the drive-by before he died in December. The car, seen at the scene of the shooting in Arizona, was impounded in Idaho. It was registered to Lori's dead ex-husband, Charles Vallow.
I believe the Cox family is involved in that attempted murder. Then why was Charles Vallow's Jeep impounded based on that investigation?
That's something that you're going to have to drive up on Gilbert Road and ask the Gilbert police. What I can tell you is that Melani has never been charged.
Now, Melani's attorneys say she has cooperated with law enforcement into the investigation on JJ and Tylee's whereabouts. She's even talked to the FBI 3 times.
Okay. Oh, I really don't know.
Keeping to himself right now, but as you saw, he didn't show up today and he was supposed to. So the judge delayed today's hearing. They rescheduled it for later this month. So we did touch base with his attorney. He took our information. So hopefully we can hear from him soon.
Okay. I prematurely did that. But I mean, this is just showing the Jeep which it was at Rexburg. So they traveled, the detectives traveled from Arizona to the impound lot for Rexburg Police Department, and that is where I assume, I don't know, we'll have to get into that, but I assume that's where they swabbed and tested for gunpowder residue and all the things. Okay, so just as of right now, yes. And notice that the window tint, there's window tint. They're dark. Okay, whenever the day my Uncle Charles was murdered, they went in with that scanner, the 3D scanner, and they obtained photos that way. And so they also went in, and so where my uncle was shot in the garage, there was Tylee's Jeep was parked inside the garage with the door closed, I want to say. And then Lori's was back, I think she was backed into hers, into the garage, except that garage door, I believe, was open. And then Alex's truck was backed in, I want to say, in the driveway. And so I always wondered where Uncle Charles parked. Did he park on the road? I don't know. It's just because it's played out in my head so many times, whether, Tylee and JJ witnessed it, to me, logistics, I don't know. That's kind of where my brain goes, but not that it matters. It doesn't matter if it was parked on a damn road or not, but it's still kind of interesting how, who would put their autistic child and then just leave them or maybe Forrest, you'd have to be like quick, don't even go inside that. Don't turn your eye away from him. But I don't know. I will never know, unfortunately. So, but the tint on the windows, they also have a receipt for Dan's window tinting in Rexburg, where this tinting, I believe, was done. But the pictures from the crime scene of July 11th, the day my uncle was murdered, they did, they didn't go intentionally to take pictures of the Jeep, but they went and it was just kind of in the mix. And they noticed that there were not tinted windows then. So that's kind of some more corroboration, or I'll say it like Lori does, corroboration. That's how she says it. She's a dork. Anyways. So, okay. Donna, I don't know if you can get the 911 call for Brandon Boudreaux when he returned to his home. I don't know if you can do that. If you can, let me know. Okay, so 9:13 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux returned to his home. He noticed the vehicle was parked out in front of his house. When Brandon Boudreaux passed the vehicle, the individual inside of the vehicle fired the shot right towards the driver's side front window, hitting the vehicle just inches above Brandon Boudreaux's head. 9:15 a.m., Brandon Boudreaux places a 911 call reporting that he has just been shot outside of his home at 3875 East Phelps Street, Gilbert, Arizona, from a Jeep Wrangler that had been parked nearby, facing the wrong direction on the street. He believes the attack was orchestrated by Lori Vallow and her brother, Alex Cox. Brandon said that only 5 people knew where he lived, as it was a newer home. And, when you're going, and he says, and Melani was one of them. And so when you're going through a divorce, you have to kind of, you have to be open, with the other parent. So it's not like you can just hide out. They kind of frown upon that, I guess. Anyways, it's kind of interesting how they treat Brandon too with this, with the court. I read some documents and I was like, oh my goodness. So, all right. Let me go look for it. 911 call. 911. Why can't shit be easy? That's all I ask. Some easiness. I want to be easy like Sunday morning. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Huh?
October 2nd, 2019. 10 hours, 13 minutes, 14 seconds.
Oh.
October 2nd, 2019. 16 hours, 0 minutes, 51 seconds.
Gilbert Police Department. This is Beth.
Good afternoon, Beth. I guess in my neighborhood, my next door neighbor, somebody tried to shot at my neighbor, and I'm just getting bits of pieces of information about this, and obviously we're freaked out. My wife is freaked out, and we're concerned for our safety, and so we're just wondering if there's somebody who's going to come talk to us about what happened and what they're doing and what's
Well,
going on.
right now it's an ongoing investigation. So I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of the times we don't give out information.
That's all right.
Seconds.
911, where's your emergency?
Someone just shot my window.
Okay,
They're
where
in a
at?
Jeep. I'm in the Cooley State away, but I can see them driving off.
Okay, someone shot at your vehicle?
Yeah, and it hit my window. It shattered my driver's side window.
Okay, when you pulled into his driveway?
As I was trying to pull into my driveway. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm a little off breath. They just drove off. I saw them drive off.
Okay. Do you know who these people are?
I have no idea. I moved into a new home about a week ago.
Oh, which way did they go? Do you remember?
They're driving south towards Pecos Road, between Pecos and Rector.
Okay. Okay. You don't see the vehicle anymore?
No, they left. They drove off.
Okay. Where are you at right now?
In my car.
Where are you at?
In my car at my house at 3-8.
Oh.
Walk over here and see if I can see what they shot at me.
And what kind of car were you in?
I'm in a black Tesla Model X.
It's a black what?
Tesla Model X.
Okay, black Tesla Model X. Okay. Okay. All right. I do have officers on the way to meet you.
Okay.
Do you want to go inside or do you want to wait outside? Wherever you and they come back. Do you have any weapons on you?
No.
Okay. Okay. Do you see the officer pulling up?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Looks like he's coming up.
Correct. I wonder if he's on. There's another section of it. He might be on the other section.
Okay, because yeah, his car is showing right near Fisher Lane and Phelps Street.
I'm at, what is the cross street? Sorry, I just moved over here. Yeah, I'm at Fisher and Phelps. I don't see it.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. It's funny. His car was showing there for a second, and now it's showing back at Higley and Pecos. So that's kind of weird. Maybe. I know that there's actually an officer that's heading towards you, and then there's other officers moving.
Or I just drove around the corner and waited for you guys to pick up, and then I kind of saw them come around the corner and go down the road and start driving down south towards Pecos and Wrecker.
Okay. And
I knew there was only one way out of Pecos Manor, and that's down there on Pecos Road, so that's why I told you that.
okay. All right. I do see the officer pulling up on Fisher from Fairview.
Okay. So he's coming from the other way. He'll come around right now. I'll see him in just a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and let you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Bye.
October 2nd, 2019, 9 hours, 22 minutes, 34 seconds. October 2nd, 2019, 10 hours, 10 minutes, 36 seconds.
Gilbert, please. This is Lindsay.
Hello, Lindsay. I was just notified by my neighbor that there was an incident.
That's the neighbor calling.
Next door to my house, and I need to know if it's okay for my wife to return home with my kids.
What's your address? Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay, per my sergeant, yeah, you guys can go home or leave. There's no issue.
Okay.
So.
That's good to know.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
October 2nd, 2019, 10 hours, 13 minutes, 14 seconds. October 2nd, 2019, 16 hours, 0 minutes, 51 seconds.
Gilbert Police Department, this is Beth.
Good afternoon, Beth. I guess in my neighborhood, my next door neighbor, somebody tried to shot at my neighbor, and I'm just getting pieces of information about this, and obviously we're freaked out. My wife is freaked out, and we're concerned for our safety, and so we're just wondering if there's somebody who's going to come talk to us about what happened and what they're doing and what's
Well,
going on.
right now it's an ongoing investigation. So I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of the times we don't give out information
Sure,
because, yeah. So, you know, we do have detectives and officers working that incident right now, but unfortunately, there's nothing that I'm going to be able to reveal.
Is there any? Can you have them come over here and talk to us and reassure me and my wife as to what's being done and to where the security of everything?
Well, I can see if somebody can give you a call. What's your name and address, sir?
So my name is Justin Foldish, Foldesh, and my address is 3.
Okay. And your phone number? Okay. Okay, I'll have somebody give you a call.
Yeah, you got to admit it. Yeah, I mean, here in quiet Gilbert, it's an odd, rare thing and a little freaky.
Okay, no problem. I'll have somebody give you a call.
Thank you.
Bye.
October 2nd, 2019, 16 hours, 2 minutes, 54 seconds.
What an oddball. Anyways, I got to redo that. That is horrible. It's loud. Oh, oh,
That's probably one of your first things. I mean,
okay. I'm sorry. I had something playing in my ear over here. Go ahead.
That was a long time ago. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at all. And then not that I do now, but I know not to use those loud colors and to title your videos a lot better. Okay. I was just like passive aggressive. I was like taking out my anger in a lot of these titles. I'm like, oh my God, that's embarrassing. You know,
we got to hear it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Can you see Melanie on your screen right now?
Yeah, should we put her up here?
Okay. Oh, yeah. That helped. I mean, this is just a screen recording I did. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's custody, right? It's her custody and the fight that she has against her ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, who, let's all remember, mysteriously, someone tried to shoot him dead, right? That's a bit odd. So there's that. So Brandon Boudreaux has that also to bring into any kind of court case where he's obviously going to be concerned about the safety of his children. So I had a few questions just about this whole process. And Randy Kessler, who is a family...
Yeah, I was just getting B-roll. My bad. Y'all have so many things that I don't know what the hell anything is. Straight up. All right. So, I mean, that 911 call was interesting. There were a lot of cutouts in that. You know, a lot of redactions, I guess you could say. So more than I remember hearing. So that's interesting. Let's see here. No. All right.
I have the it's the East Idaho News. We have the
thank you. Yeah. I wish I could just click on the link and it would just go to it. You know,
the storage unit thing. You want that?
Yes.
Let me get that for you. Hold, please.
That and I'll pull up the Brandon Boudreaux interview with the cops immediately after.
Okay. All right.
Teamwork.
I think this is right. Yeah. Copy. Dang it. I'm telling you, that beginning of the East Idaho News will get you every time.
Oh, yeah. Jump. Do I need to put yours on there? Oh, you don't have one yet. Okay.
No, I'm trying to put us back up here. Here we are.
Oh my God. Google Windows will also get you Google Photos. It just got me.
Surveillance from Self-Storage Plus in Rexburg. This is the facility where Lori Vallow went on October 1st to rent a storage unit, and inside she placed some very personal belongings, such as children's bikes, scooters, also some photo albums, and blankets with pictures of her children, JJ and Tylee. Lori and sometimes 2 men visited the facility 9 times in October and 1 time in November. The big question is what happened on October 2nd. We know that Lori rented the unit by herself the day before on the 1st, but on October 2nd, she came in her blue Nissan Rogue with a man we originally thought was Alex Cox, her brother. But a closer look of enhanced high-quality video shows it likely was not Alex. In fact, it appears to be Chad Daybell, based on the way he walks and comparing his mannerisms to other video we have of him. Let me walk you through this. The blue Rogue arrives at 2:25. You can see the timestamp says 1:25, but that's because the clocks were off, according to the facility. Lori is driving the Rogue and makes her way to the door of the building where her unit is. She gets out 2 minutes later at 2:27 with the man we believe is Chad. At 2:29, he pulls a tire out of the back of the Rogue and rolls it into the storage unit. Then 1 minute later, he and Lori both carry in together what appears to be a removable car seat. They put it in the locker, shut the door, and leave the facility at 2:32. Their entire visit is just 7 minutes. So why does this matter? Well, that same day, Brandon Boudreaux says that he was shot at in Gilbert, Arizona around 9:30 that morning while coming home from the gym. Brandon had been married to Melani, Lori's niece, and he had a very large life insurance policy and assets totaling over $1 million. Months earlier, Melani began spending a lot of time with Lori and her religious group. Then Melani suddenly demanded a divorce from Brandon. The bullet missed his head by inches, and police say the person who shot at him was driving a Jeep registered to Charles Vallow. Charles had been dead for nearly 3 months at this point, and Tylee Ryan regularly drove that Jeep, but she had been missing for more than a month at this point. Now, if you're familiar with Jeeps, you know that many models have spare tires on the back, and if they are in place, the back window does not open. But if they are removed, that window does open. So it's possible that the Jeep used in that shooting had the tire removed, and that tire could have been placed into the storage unit along with the back seat of the Jeep. We would ask Alex Cox if that was the case, but we can't because he's dead and police are not commenting. But if Cox was not in Rexburg, it's possible he was in Arizona, inside Charles Vallow's Jeep. The next day, back in Rexburg, Lori returns to the storage facility with another man who we believe is Alex. They were there for 3 minutes. You can see them entering, working their way to the same door she was at the day before, and going into the building. Compared to the guy from the day before, this man walks differently and carries the tire out rather than rolling it. The man we think is Cox also carries out the car seat by himself without any help from Lori. Originally, we thought this was a tote with something hanging over the end, but this higher quality video shows that it appears it's actually a vehicle seat, and Lori and Alex are likely taking it away. 3 days later, on October 6th, Alex returns to the storage unit by himself in his silver pickup and comes 5 other times that month, including a visit on October 28th with a man who appears to be Chad Daybell. They stay 6 minutes and wheel in bikes and other items. The last time anyone visits the storage locker is November 24th. Lori and Chad stay for 4 minutes and drop off this Home Depot box and a tote, leaving belongings of JJ and Tylee never to return. Police have now seized all of the items that were inside of that storage unit, along with the Jeep that was used in the shooting of Brandon. I'm Nate Eaton for EastIdahoNews.com.
I know all the damn sounds, right? Thank you for doing that. And let me not lose my mind.
Do you need, if you need something else, maybe I can find it. I can't guarantee anything.
Just read a little bit ahead on the document, maybe. And that way, you know what I'm saying? Like to kind of be in front of it. Hey y'all, you're watching us train. This is behind the scenes. Okay. Me and Donna learning how to communicate, and I'm the worst at it. So I appreciate you so much. You know what I'm saying? Like just go a little bit ahead of me in the document, in the timeline, to kind of see maybe what could pop up. I don't know. Just like a 4 or yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I put this on there yet? Yes. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. This, oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's okay. Sorry. All right. So this was interesting too. And this is just a little snippet. It's 1 minute and 21 seconds, but it's all building a case.
Why did you include this series of communications between Lori Vallow and Melani Boudreaux?
I included this for context purposes because it is a similar conversation relating to Brandon Boudreaux with references for could he go similar to what we've seen in other communications. Line 663 from Lori Vallow to Melani Boudreaux. Yeah, but until that agreement is signed by the judge, it is all subject to change. That's probably the reason for the delay. Line 662 from Melani Boudreaux to Lori Vallow. Is there a possibility he could go before I move? Line 661 from Lori Vallow to Melani Boudreaux. There's always that possibility. We will work on it. Just have faith and do whatever the Lord tells you. He is always right. Line 655 from Melani Boudreaux to Lori Vallow. I don't recall the words to get him out, but should we try? Line 654 from Lori Vallow to Melani Boudreaux. I know them. I'll work on it now. Put all your energy in. Line 647 from Melani Boudreaux to Lori Vallow. I've worked on them all day and evening. Line 646 from Lori Vallow to Melani Boudreaux. Me too. He's got to be ready to go. Line 645 from Melani Boudreaux to Lori Vallow. I know.
Is there anything else you want to review with the jury on why you included the text communication between Melani Boudreaux and Lori Vallow from October 14, 2019?
No.
Nope. All that just to be like, nope. Anyways. All right. So, I mean, that's just, could he go? I mean, tell me that woman is not freaking involved. I mean, because I believe I've seen a compelling amount of evidence just on the outside of a trial. Like everything outside of a trial, all during an investigation, all through this, I witnessed it, and I mean, that woman, Lori's niece, which I mean, this is just rumor. I don't know. I don't know Melanie. I've never met her, but I've met Brandon, and so this is just rumor, but I've heard that Melani Boudreaux is even more deceptive than Lori. And so I can't even fathom that now, like not at all. That's terrifying actually. So anyways, okay. Let me get to here.
I accidentally done this, but this is the body cam of whenever the police come at the attempted shooting. I don't know if you want that.
Yeah, wait. I must wait. Just hold on. Yeah, that's a good one. But this is when he gets in the vehicle, the cruiser, the police car with, it's just an audio, but he's in there with the detective, and it's okay. So I guess you could go ahead and play that body. It's so confusing, like the timeline, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just have to work it out in my mind. If you want. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. God, I feel so mean. I know, she must be Satan.
Hi there. So what's going on?
Fargo.
Okay, give me a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so I was just pulling in.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed a green Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
It's like a coupy green
color.
Had a Texas plate.
Mm-hmm.
I just moved in like a week ago, so I
Okay.
thought maybe it was just my neighbor.
Okay.
So as I was kind of pulling in, they lifted their like back window.
Okay.
Saw a muzzle. They shot.
Are we talking a real gun, a BB gun?
It's got to be like a BB gun or an airsoft.
Okay, so they shot. Then what happened?
It hit my window, and instead of turning in, it scared me really bad.
Okay.
I thought, I'm getting shot at, so I drove straight. So
Okay.
I drove straight really fast.
Okay.
Pulled around the corner, got my phone out, called 911, sat there, drove a little further up. I watched them come around the corner.
What do you mean coming around the corner? Come around the corner where?
So I drove up there. I drove
Okay.
the street.
Gotcha.
Right, went a little further.
Okay.
Parked by, there's a park right there.
So he went northbound on that street.
Turned right, and I watched him turn right down here, and I knew there was only one way out of this neighborhood.
Okay.
On Pecos and Wrecker, so I told that to the dispatcher.
Okay, so he was on Wrecker. He went, but you don't know if he went onto Pecos. You just know Wrecker.
Well, I didn't get on Wrecker. He stayed on this, and he came out on. He had to have gone out on Pecos because that's the only way.
Oh, he stayed in the neighborhood. He did not go out to Wrecker. I got you covered. Okay.
And I was nervous, so I was kind of waiting because I didn't want him to follow me.
So we don't know where, if he went on Pecos, left, right.
I don't. I didn't follow him.
You bet it.
Okay.
I would.
11-12-22, just for information on units, left the neighborhood south
That's funny.
toward Pecos and unknown from that location.
That's a good one.
So it was really loud, so that's why I didn't think BB gun, but it could have been maybe.
Well, let's look. So you were just pulling into the driveway. They were sitting here.
Yeah, so I was.
So were they facing then west? Because if they opened the back.
Yeah, he opened the back, and there had been two people, I think.
Okay.
They were parked right here.
Right, facing that way. Gotcha.
Correct.
And as I.
She seems like she needs to work in customer service somewhere.
Okay, so you didn't totally pull in yet.
Very
Okay. Okay.
customer servicey.
It shattered, but it didn't go through, which means it couldn't have been a real bullet. I didn't think about that.
Oh. Whoa, hello. Is that who's? Okay, I'm like, what the heck?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You just
Is
got
this
shot
gonna
at.
shut on
Though.
me if I get close? No. Okay.
Oh.
Well, I don't think that's a BB gun.
One friend calling is Ninja 459. It's been holding for over 2 hours.
All right.
District 6.
All right, so it looks like they shot up anything. It'd be there. All right, so you just moved in. Okay, you just moved. Okay, so was this a vacant home at the time?
Previously, yeah.
Okay.
It's a rental.
All right. So you're the owner though, right now? Or you still? You're okay. So you're just renting it. Did the owners of the house? Can I open?
Yeah.
Is this? How do you open this door? Go ahead.
Right.
Ah, look at you.
Sorry.
That's pretty sweet.
She's a trip.
Anyway, did the owners of the house say anything to you who was renting the house before you or anything?
No.
All right. Do you have any enemies? Anybody that you?
Just went through a divorce. There was some crazy stuff that happened with her aunt killed her husband, but I would hope that has nothing to do with this.
Okay. Did you live here in the valley before? Where'd you move from? I'm sorry?
I've lived here for 10 years.
Okay, so you moved, where'd you move from? Here in Gilbert
I just
or?
sold a house over on Quinn, just right by the
Okay. And no issues at work, no issues, enemies or anything? Okay.
Other than the only people that I could even think of would be that group. But
The family, your ex-wives?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, me too, Michelle. She sound like Fargo. You ever seen Fargo? She's like, dur.
Right.
She's nice, but just, I don't know if this
camera and get
this
some
won't work.
pictures. All right, so you would come in here. Did it look like a long rifle? Did it look like a rifle type?
Yeah, it looked like
Oh, that's true. Why is she touching it without gloves?
Like some kind of a muzzle thing on it.
Good catch.
And they just lifted up the back gate and shot.
Hawkeyes.
Okay, so they were shooting this way. Okay, all right.
And then she's like, hey, I don't think this is like kids. Okay. Kids must run amok over there. And in Rexburg. Thank you, Star. Oh, yeah. When do you cry? Yeah, she's about to say, Scott, I thought you were on your way. And then he's like, no. And she's like, well, come on. Gilbert goons are a thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Hey,
true.
head over this way to the house. I want to show you something. Yeah, I think it might be adults. But yeah, I think this might be a real gun too. Not sure. I just want to show you real quick.
He puts it together kind of
Right here, right in the street here on
phone
Phelps.
interview. I think
He was
that I have lined up right here.
heading westbound, just about to drive into his driveway.
Yeah.
And the green Jeep was parked right here on the side, right next to his house, just west of the house, facing west. And whoever was in the back opened up the back of the Jeep Wrangler, the little door in the back, whatever you want to call it, the flip thing, and shot one. So the guy didn't make it into his driveway. It shot and it actually hit the driver's window, blew out the window. And so the guy got scared and kept driving westbound. And then as he's round the corner, that's when the Jeep Wrangler took off, kind of circled in the neighborhood, and then headed toward Pecos. Don't know where.
Hey, girl.
So I'm going to take some pictures. Okay, bye.
That's me trying to explain the flippy thingy, you know? Yeah, no, I'm not a cop.
Where was the window? Where did that land? Because I'm assuming you picked that up.
It actually stayed on my door.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, when I drove around.
So when you got out of your car right now is where it lays.
Because you saw it just opens automatically. As soon as
Yeah.
it opens, the window fell off, and so
That's just weird how that opens. That would freak me out. All righty.
Oh.
All right. So whereabouts? What were you say? Were you about right here?
Right here.
Okay.
I saw the tailgate lift up.
Yeah.
Pointed the gun at me. Shot.
Okay. So it would have went.
I heard a loud boom.
Yeah.
My window shattered, and then I just.
Right. I'm trying to figure out the trajectory.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. There's nothing.
It's stuck in there.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's what I was wondering, but I don't see. It's got to be back in here. I'm not touching. Anyway.
Who's pissed off at you?
Yep.
They claim self-defense. He died at their house. He's in jail. They think I'm involved in it.
Contact at 103 Charles Lobby.
Oh, I did use my AI to put in layman's terms. I found the docket or whatever for Brandon and Melani Boudreaux's, custody battle, and I told it to, take each minute entry
here
and to put it into layman's terms, the gist of it, and it's pretty interesting, and it's a timeline too. Something I've not
You guys
seen.
want to go just right over here for just a sec? Let me get some pictures real quick.
Where were you on the car?
You all be playing 3 in it. I'm going to try it.
All right. Now, the green you're talking about, are we talking that type
This
of green?
bothers me.
Hunter green?
This is crazy.
Pukey green.
Okay, that's kind of more of a pukey green. Are we talking a chartreuse? I know it sounds like got a gazillion colors, green.
Let me just.
She works at Crayola.
Look at your nest. He's got a nest.
Oh, how fantastic. Do you have is that your car registered to you? The driver, or your registration? Okay, I'll just get all your information off of that real fast.
There you go. Camel green.
Oh, camel green. Okay.
You're good, dude. Are they sending a detective up? This definitely.
I don't know.
The detective should
Is
come
I'm
out.
assuming.
I'm
Well.
still recording.
Oh, I am too. Scott's coming out.
Walk up. Is he?
I don't know.
I think you need to call him.
Somebody find
Well,
Scott.
I thought he was coming. Well, you just said about Scott coming out.
No, I said I would call him.
Oh, well, of
Oh,
course.
hell.
I thought he was coming out. We'll just
Look, that's
get him on the
basically
radio and say,
Lori
"Come
and
on out."
Alex about 911.
Those are
Thought you were
great.
gonna do it.
Now, is it I gotta find out 2-door, 4-door. But anyway, get him out here. I thought he was already on the way.
She must be not just a peon.
I'm gonna walk up and down these streets.
Yeah, see if we have any more cameras.
I'm gonna walk up this one and back down.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for doing your job. It's pretty relaxing now. Thank you, Donna. I needed to relax.
Are you Brandon? All right, cool. So what would you say, how many minutes before you called us did this happen?
I just called right as soon as it happened.
Okay, fantastic. Now, were you able to, because you're coming in, they're facing that way, so you're not going to be able to see when they
I think that's why
passed you
they
when you
say
were
they.
parked. Were you able to see any description of these people? Is it a guy, a girl, anything? Okay.
I was trying to make sure I had enough distance in case they shot at me.
Okay.
See, a lot of people are saying they.
So
And I'm
when
like,
you
I
saw,
think it's
you could
because they don't know
see
if
the
it's a guy or
barrel.
girl, you know.
You think it was a
and
long
then it
rifle,
just,
not a handgun?
I think he's putting two and two together.
Silencer or something on it.
Okay.
That's why it's like maybe it wasn't a gun because but it was so loud.
Okay.
Can I sit down?
Sure, sure. Do you have
I know.
I was going to say, do
Yeah,
you have a
North Dakota.
chair or something that we can get you?
Yeah, can we, anything else of
Okay,
yours,
sure,
Brandon,
sure,
that
no
we can
problem at
go
all.
get you?
Is
Can
there
we help
anybody else
you
here?
with
Are
your
you
things?
the only person that lives here? Is there anybody here that?
Alex done had
Okay.
15
No
bottles
other
of water.
adults. Okay, is there somebody
He was
we can
being
call
called
to come
sir.
here to be with you?
Yeah, in a minute.
Okay, you go ahead and you take your time, whatever you need. Okay, can I get you a bottle of water?
I got one over there. I'm fine. I just want to get down.
Sure, no
Diet
problem
Coke,
at all.
Coke, anything on tap?
Nobody else is
Mhm.
here at the house? What do you do for a living? I own a couple businesses.
Okay.
How many
I
think?
know I have a lot of questions. I apologize. Is it a
Sorry, I can't.
two-door or a
I can't
four-door
pause it.
Jeep Wrangler?
Looks like a two-door.
How many people agree with Hawkeyes and how many people don't? Like, if you agree with Hawkeyes that it's more than one shooter, more than one person, put a number 2. If you think it's just one, put a number 1. Interesting. I want to know.
Sure.
I bought a cup of coffee. He drinks Red Bull. I remember he was at my mom and Larry's, and I was like, "What the hell? I thought Mormons didn't drink." You know, I'm thinking that to myself. You know, like, and I was like, "Are you sure you're not from Louisiana? You got a Boudreaux name, dude, and you knew how to pop, lock, and drop it the hell out of there when you got shot at. You know, that was very good instincts, very good reaction." And anyways, he's a really nice guy. I like Brandon.
1141.
I do. I think it was Alex
When you
alone.
went, huh? Yeah, you're gonna do a canvas,
Here's
yeah,
three.
and do a line search.
Sorry.
As you went down and you got out, you turned north
Wow.
on that street. Okay, how far did you go down before you parked and just?
Amos Mojo.
There's a pool over here.
There. Okay, I'm not real far. It's been a while.
I owned the house on the other side of the street.
Dang, y'all think there's more than 2? I mean, more than one.
Pull the other side of the pool. Okay. All right. And then they passed you by. They.
Drive by. I thought, well, I'm going to go down this way and make sure.
He was in Idaho.
Right. Okay.
As I saw him go down that way, that's when I.
Okay.
Okay. And then it kind of hit me what happened.
You can crawl across the front seat if it's laid back.
So you showed me that I realized.
Okay. All right.
Most certainly can.
I'm going to get some maps and stuff like that. I'm going to be making some notes, so just hang tight, okay?
With adrenaline? Yeah. Dang, y'all. I guess there I am in the little bitty pool of against the grain. You know, I'm always against the damn grain.
The GMC? Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Who knows? Who knows if he smoked? They do everything else they're not supposed to. Lori was in Idaho. Allegedly. I think so too, Natalie. They took the tire and the back seat out. So you can lean the front seat all the way back. You can recline it all the way back. He posted up there, and then I feel like he did the shot and adrenaline, and you get the hell out of there, you know? He could move around. Hell, he killed 2 kids, a woman while she slept, and Charles. So he attacked Joe. I mean, I'm just saying, these are pretty much some asshole monsters, in my opinion.
I'm going to shut off for now.
Yeah, shut off. Sayonara. All right. So, oh, wrong tab. I had it on the right one. And then here, we'll do a palate cleanser, like Donna says. So everybody get ready to laugh. That's Melanie. Whack.
We're talking about the list. She uses words like booyah and delish.
What's up?
She's got style, she's got style, and married a handsome guy. She laughs at a banana and wonders why.
Everybody now. Beach bum.
We wanted to say today.
Palate cleanser.
Happy birthday.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet, Star.
Beautiful, honey, we love our girl.
That's Summer or Shish. That's Shish and Bob. Shish kebab. No.
Loves to bake and loves to blog.
Oh, get ready to vomit.
What's gonna work? Teamwork. What's gonna work?
Make it
Teamwork. We're on our way. Save the baby pigeons.
Oh, yeah, spanking the booty.
We're not too big and we're not too tough, but when we work together, we got the right stuff. Go Wonderballs! Yay!
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Okay? Anytime. Okay. And while I have this one pulled up, we'll go ahead and just catch this one too. Why not? Oh, hell. Come on with it, drama. Oh, we'll get with it.
Talk to.
Yeah. There's Satan tacos, Joe.
Did Chad come over?
Yes.
Did you talk to Chad at all during this time?
We did.
Was Lori there as well?
Yes.
Tell us about that conversation with Lori and Chad.
Lori and Chad were very aggressively trying to convince me to move to Rexburg.
Thumbs out.
And we talked a lot about him saying that I needed to move to Rexburg.
Why did they want you to move to Rexburg?
They kept telling me that part of my mission was to be there and that I needed to help them build science there and that I just needed to move there.
Now, do you have a job?
Yes.
Do you have family in Arizona?
Yes.
Okay. What did Lori say
no idea.
about, how you would, if you gave up and quit your job, how are you supposed to support yourself?
I said that if I was to move to Rexburg, there's no jobs there for me for my experience on my past jobs or anything that would match me. And what would I do there for finances. And she said, don't worry about it. Melanie, meaning Melanie Pulaski / Boudreaux, she has enough for all of us.
Now, so at this time it was Melani Boudreaux. That was her name, right?
At the time, correct, yes.
Okay. And so Melani Boudreaux was her niece.
Yes.
Melani Boudreaux was in the process of divorcing her husband, Brandon.
Correct.
She received a fairly substantial divorce settlement.
Correct.
Several $100,000.
Yes.
So what did Lori tell you about Melanie supporting people? What exactly? I want to make sure we get the words right. What did she say?
She said, don't worry about it because Melly has enough for all of us.
Okay. What did you say to that?
I said, that's her money, not my money.
Okay. And did Lori have a response?
No, not really.
All right. Did you ever talk to Melani Boudreaux about the idea that her money was going to support all of you?
I told her about what Lori said after Alex had died, and she said that she was very sad that other people would be saying that about her and her money.
That's my money that I got from my own divorce. Leave my money I didn't work for alone. You know, hold on just a second, because I'm pulling up Zalema, because I got to show you the whole cuddle. Oh, that's not a good shot. Hold on. I find it interesting. Hold on just one second. During the course of this investigation, it was learned that Alexander Cox married Zalema Pastenes on 11/29/2019 and had since been residing at her residence at redacted East Mineral Road in Gilbert. And so with that, let me pull up Tyson Draper, who went to Zalema's house and got some body cam footage from it. Oh, yeah. Sure did.
Back, everyone. So it's been an interesting few days as I tried to go speak with Zalema, Alex Cox's wife, in Gilbert, Arizona. That video is coming up. But first and foremost, I want to wish everybody a very happy 4th of July. I hope you guys are spending time with your families and really enjoying yourselves this holiday with all the COVID stuff going on. I hope that you're able to get outside a little bit and spend some time with your family. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually heading over to the Eastern Arizona College pool. It is open. I'm surprised because we had a spike in COVID here in Arizona, and I thought the pools were shut down, but they're not. Today is July 3rd, so 4th of July is actually tomorrow, but by the time I post this, it'll probably be after the 4th of July or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Getting back to the last few days that I spent in Gilbert, I went to Zalema's house and I got some video that's coming up on that. There was some girl or woman that came out of her house,
her daughter,
and she was not a nice person, but not nice at all. She told me to shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah,
get the fuck out of here. I saw Zalema standing in the doorway, but she didn't want to come outside. They actually called the cops on me, and so that's coming up as well. I didn't record the entire time that the cops were there because I ended up knowing one of the guys. One of the cops was from the Gila Valley, and so we started chatting, and so he turned his body cam off and I turned my camera off, and we just kind of talked about the case and whatnot. So it wasn't any kind of a threatening tone from the cops or anything like that. It was more of just, you know, talking about the case and some of the stuff that's gone on. And so the cop actually gave me a ride back to my car. So I'm pretty sure Zalema and them were looking out the window the entire time, and they probably saw me get in the front seat of the cop car and take off with them. So they were probably happy, thinking that I was arrested or something, which I wasn't even close, not handcuffed, nothing. One of my favorite things to do growing up was spend time at the swimming pool here in Arizona. So I'm just like a big kid. I never grew up, and I still love to come to the pool. So especially around the 4th of July when it gets really hot.
Oh, okay, come on. Oh my
I
God.
do this all over, man. I was in Rexburg. I got a lot of video from up there. We follow cases all over. And so, you know, Zulema, she has a lot that she's hiding from law enforcement. And, you know, it'd be nice to just hear from her and have her clear her name. If she's not ready to do that, that's fine. But I wanted to come out here today. My objective was to let her know that, you know, people are following this case and they're ready to hear her side of the story. So that's basically all it is.
Okay.
I got the wrong damn video, y'all. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay, what's your music? Okay, damn. I had to come back over here, just shut that thing off. Now I got to go back where I was. And let's see. I mean, it's just interesting. I'm just saying, because these are like, oh, I follow Jesus. I follow Jesus. And then they talk Jesus, but they act like the damn mafia. Straight up. Straight the hell up. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. I thought it was a court hearing. That's why I didn't put it on there. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Yep. Talk up. We can't hear you.
So am I being detained? Just until we find out what they want. Trying to find out what's going on. Why are you detaining me? What's the cause? If it's possible that you have been harassing them, I haven't gotten officially from them. So just until I find out what's going on, I'm gonna have to hang out right here, okay? Okay, so I'm being detained. Sure. Yeah, at this time, okay? All right. Just hang out with this officer. Hi, how you doing?
I'm well.
No problem.
What does it take to be a YouTuber?
Hey, a lot of work.
Does it?
Yeah, and standing out in 100 degree weather.
Oh, now I hear that, man. I hear that. I see lots of videos on YouTube, you know, and I'm always curious what the, like, is it like a YouTube supports you kind of thing?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I mean, I guess, is there money in it?
There is, and I just started getting paid. It took a while to
That's the work.
to build it up, but just like with anything else in life, you have to have a lucky break now and then.
Sure.
And so I was following a case out in Colorado of a missing woman out there. I don't know if you follow these cases or not, but her name's Suzanne Morphew.
I think I remember seeing the name.
Yeah, she disappeared on Mother's Day, way up in Maysville, Colorado.
Yeah.
It's a small town up in the mountains just north of
I remember
Savannah.
that.
Okay.
And anyway, I was out there helping with the search, and I came across her husband. So CNN, Fox News, all the big major stations were trying to get an interview with him, and they
You
couldn't.
just happened to be.
I happened to be at the right place at the right time.
And he was willing to talk?
I caught him at the right moment where he gave me this, like, what was it, like I think it was 7 to 10 minute interview. He showed me like where they found her bike and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so I posted it on YouTube. First, I found out what my legal rights were.
Come on.
Oh, no, that's important, right?
Yeah, you know.
Like, I finally found
I might still have
for a dead body call one time.
Yeah, you got to be
right.
Well, and that's the same thing. People are starting to turn to people like me, these independent journalists, because we get in the trenches. We don't have to follow the same rules as the journalists do.
Well, you don't look like that, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Right. The guy, you know, I'm standing here with the microphone and my camera guy's over there. People don't want to talk to that, just like they don't want to talk to me.
Right. Well,
but you show up and they're like, hey, man, I'll talk to you.
Well, in Idaho, we were all set up on the side of Chad Daybell's house. I don't know how much you know about this case, but it's a big piece of property. And then there's a side road right here. And so
the news stations were all set up right there, and I watched them for 2 days. This is what they do, man. They sit in their car with the air conditioner running.
Oh, here it
they have
is.
a white shirt and tie.
Found it.
And they get out and they go like this. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. And
Right.
Hold on, found it. I guess I did. If not, I'm done after this. Done. I'm swimming.
Is Zalema here? Tyson? Draper? Is Zalema here? Who are you?
Who is you? That's her daughter.
Do this all over, man. I was in Rexburg. I got a lot of video from up there. We follow cases all over, and so, you know, Zalema, she has a lot that she's hiding from law enforcement.
I hear music. I don't know what's
you know, it'd be nice to just hear from her and have her clear her name. If she's not ready to do that, that's fine. But I wanted to come out here today. My objective was to let her know that, you know, people are following this case and they're ready to hear her side of the story. So that's basically all it is.
Okay.
It's his music. I'm like, where the hell is that music coming from? I'm sitting there freaking out back here. All right, so this right here is after. So right here, the one we just watched earlier was police body cam, Lori Vallow's nephew, Brandon Boudreaux, or I'll say nephew-in-law. So we saw the body cam, but this is actually of Brandon Boudreaux interviewed immediately following the attempt on his life. Sees Tylee Ryan's Jeep. This is a re-upload video and has parts trimmed out because, oh, that's right. Shit. Does it? Oh, yeah, because I used, and I mean, I want to use it again, really, just to show you guys, because it was a good reenactment. These damn freaking media companies and their freaking copyright crap. You know, I mean, I appreciate their work, but damn, you know, they make it where you can't even use the damn video, but we're going to do it. But I mean, this is just, we can listen to it. The audio is not. But it does a good reenactment of this.
Okay, so you said about the pool area. Where's the pool area?
I'll show you. Right here, there's a pool.
Greenbelt area?
Yeah, so I came up just a little past weight. I just parked right there because I knew there's only two exits. It's this one and the one down there. I figured if they came by me, I could drive out the way.
Did the Jeep come by you at all?
It came up and it went around and made a right on weight. And I watched it drive down weight and then go down Fisher Lane. And then I don't know which way it went from there because I saw it start going down Fisher Lane.
So it came up here, back around this way.
Yeah, and I went ahead and drove down weight, and I could see that it was gone when I got to Fisher. And so I pulled into my driveway because I figured the police were going to come. So
you're coming home from the gym. Did you come in?
I came in this way. So I came in through here.
Okay.
I went this way, came up, and as I came around that corner, that's when I noticed the Jeep.
So you came in off of Pecos, Brighton, Francis, north on Cole, Fairview,
up to Fisher, and then I make a left on Phillips.
Okay, and then so you're slowing down.
And their car is parked directly into the. You'll see the van's parked this way.
It's facing.
They faced into the van.
Okay, so they faced west, and they were right in front of your house. Then right
so
in this
is
area.
literally like right where they have the perfect vantage point of me turning into the driveway. Okay, which makes more sense now than at the time.
So then you drive here, and about where were you at on Phelps when the shots, or when that window opened up?
Just about to turn into my driveway. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think they did a pretty good job with the cones of about where it was.
Okay.
And I mean, this is kind of off a recollection because there's a lot of adrenaline there. I'm not 100% sure on the exact spacing, but I remember pulling up. I remember those thoughts. I remember the window coming up. I remember seeing the muzzle, thinking, "Oh, that's not good." And immediately it was just like, boom, I heard the noise. The window shattered. And then I think my adrenaline just kicked in because I just drove.
Did you see anybody in the vehicle?
Which I did.
When you say the window came up, did you see a flash or anything, or you just saw the
muzzle?
The muzzle?
I saw the muzzle. I know I saw the muzzle. 100% sure. And that's why I was thinking, but it had to have been a silencer because it was like rounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, this has to be either like, that's why I was thinking maybe paintball gun or something because it's so much more rounded.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe that worked a hell gun or something. But now that I see it, now that was probably like a gun. Someone was trying to shoot me.
Okay, so then you came around on Phelps, then you parked up here by the pool, and then you saw the same Jeep drive this way, On Phelps, east on Phelps, and north on Cole, and then
dispatcher. And so I was probably jaggled because I was frazzled a little bit. But I told him, I said, oh, it looks like they're going out of the neighborhood south towards Pecos and Record. So I kind of let them know what streets they would be going towards since I knew the neighborhood.
Okay, so I went out this way, and then you don't know where it went from Wait. You just know it came back down on Fisher.
They had to have gone out from Fairview down.
Have you ever seen that vehicle before?
That's my recollection.
Not from a recollection.
Tell me more about the Jeep.
It's like an olive. I was saying to that puke or olive green. It's like a kind of and it had Texas plates.
So when does it get took off?
It looked like it probably was a little newer.
Huh.
You said it had a Texas plate? Yeah. Any stickers or anything on the vehicle? Anything else?
I wish I could.
Did you see any of the occupants?
I think there was probably 2 people based off the speed of.
Two people based on the speed.
Was anything said?
No words.
Huh.
Okay. Any other disagreements or any other issues with anyone that you can think of?
No. I'm not a guy who has a lot of problems with anyone in my life. It's people that try not to fight about things. It doesn't really help.
Okay. In that Tesla, is that paid for? Or is it rent?
But it's almost paid for. It's got like $30,000 left on it.
Okay. Because my thought now too is possibly a money issue. Because I mean, those Teslas, those are nice cars. You live here at this house by yourself. You're paying for your ex, soon to be ex. Is there anything else involved with the money situation?
I mean, we went through it with the mediator so she could see everything. Like I was very thorough. She has almost every penny that I'm supposed to pay her. If there's like one left outstanding thing I have to pay her left. Our house is about to close. She's getting her half. She signed up, so we're just going to her account. Like everything's done. You know, we've been talking. She wants me to reimburse some things, and I'm not agreeing with her on the reimbursement. But it's not like we're talking about maybe $500 to $1,000.
It's the air conditioner you hear.
Distribution wise, she's got like $300,000. So you know, it's not enough that I would think that would at all create an anger thing. You know.
So she's getting, or how much money would you say that she's received from you so far doing this?
Once that money comes from the house, she'll be close to $300,000.
Any drug use?
No, never.
Brought by her?
I don't think so. She never used drugs. She drank a little while in my marriage at the beginning, but she's been very. She got into this religious thing, and she's been going like her temple every day. And like I don't know if she is anymore because I don't really see her, but for about a year she was going every single day. She was like super religious. Like she was really hardcore into
LDS.
In her belief system. She decided that this is why the marriage is done because she told me that she had received revelation. She was told that I'm gay. That there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Did she have any evidence to say
silly evidence like that I drew penises on the board or that like guy things like that there's a video on me of me dancing with a dude on Facebook too, which was a funny video, being awkward. It's not like that I'm attracted to anything, but it's just really, really vague evidence. Like and I offered to have a thorough search of all my web browsing because if I'm gay there should be some I try to go through some logical steps. I offered a lie detector test just because I'm not good odds that if I was gay there'd be some truth there.
Yeah.
I offered all the logical things I could think.
Either gay unless they're children or cheat on it.
And like she's a good mom, so I thought a lot about am I worried about this for my kids? And my answer was no, because they need a stable mom just like they need a stable dad, and if she can be a stable mom regardless of whatever's going on with us, like I guess I just wanted to have her be there rather than like go through a battle where I try to like prove that she has issues and like I don't think that's going to be helpful for my kids. It makes them make some real tough decisions at an early age in life.
As far as routine, do you typically work weekdays?
Work Monday through Friday. My routine is very set. I mean, people would know it because I get up when I have my kids, which this is the first week I've been able to have them over my house. I drop them off and then I go to the gym and I come home and shower, change, go to work.
What time do you get up in the morning?
I get up at 6. So
tell me about today. What was the routine today?
Woke up at 6. Put on my workout clothes. My 6-year-old wakes up. She usually likes to sleep on my bed. She's kind of a sleeper. So get her ready for school. I get her downstairs. I get her some muffins so she can eat. My other little 2-year-old wakes up, and so I go get her out of her bed. I give her some muffins, strip her down, put a new fresh diaper on her, get her some clothes, get her ready. Then my 9-year-old wakes up. He can get himself ready, which is kind of nice. So he gets himself ready. He wet the bed. So I stripped him down, got him in the shower, got him clean, got him dressed, got him in bed. And I had about 15 minutes, so I let them kind of just watch a show on Netflix for a few minutes while I got myself just a little bit of food, just kind of ready. Got them out the door. That was 7:25. That's when I started the drive.
So 7:25, then you take Braxton right into ALA?
ALA first. Drop her off at mom. It's not at her house. She likes me to park. It makes her feel better. So I park.
Right. Is it a park near her house?
Yeah, it's literally like as you turn into where her street is, there's a park right there.
Okay.
So that's where we always do drop off every day. So my kids are used to it. It's good. They like it. If she's late or I'm early or whatever, we just play at the park for a minute until the connection happens. And I move on.
So then drop Bria off at the park.
She runs to mom. Mom's already walking, so she runs to mom. I get back in the car. We'll drop like off and head to the gym.
Okay, so from Legacy Traditional, you went to EOS today?
Yeah.
EOS Fitness? Which one's that at?
Big Lead Fitness.
And who'd you work out with there?
Mark Bell. They have this information and Chris Pierce was actually there with us too.
So Mark and Chris were both with you? And how long was the workout?
I usually work out about an hour,
Leg
hour
day.
and a half. Today was shorter. It was an hour. This is leg day, and we go really hard, so short version.
Never skip leg day, right? Don't skip leg day. I got you. Don't skip leg day. So
don't want to look like a wimp.
So you get done with leg day. You leave there. Did you make any stops beforehand?
Nah, I just drove right over to here. I was going to go over to my house. And I thought, nah, I'll just go get showered first. I have to get my house clean because we just sold the 3150 South Point house. And so it was supposed to close today. It's actually going to close tomorrow. So I didn't make any stops. I just drove over here. And that's when that occurred. As I was going around that corner.
Okay. And so what would you do if this was still a typical day? What would you do next?
All that would have happened is I would have gone in, showered, have a 10 o'clock owners meeting with my partners. We go through and talk about the insurance.
Is that both Mark and Chris?
Mark, Chris, and there's a guy named Ryan Jarvis who's also a business partner. So yeah, we would have gone in there. I'd have spent probably an hour. I got a buddy that wanted to go to lunch today, so I probably would have gone and caught lunch with him. I come back, I run a correlation for my sales team. After that, usually I either sell or I tackle whatever things on my list are most urgent, most important, get to your quadrant. So I work through that stuff. I usually work on a day like today till 7 o'clock and come out. There's no reason to go home. I don't have my kids anymore. I don't have a family. So I just work until 7, 8 when everybody else leaves. And I head back here and probably clean because my kids have been here and it's always harder to get your house really clean. So I do a really thorough cleaning and really stack early because when I don't have my kids, I like to get to the gym at 6, 5:30, somewhere in there so that I can get my workout done, get back and get to work earlier. It's pretty much my life. I just work.
So when you do have your kids, your morning routine's a little different.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have your kids, you work out in the morning.
Yeah, I work out at 6. So usually I'll show up at 6, get a good workout in, be done by 7:30, and I get more cardio in if I don't have my kids. So I usually put a half hour to an hour cardio after my workout. I lost like 50 pounds in 3 months, so it's working. It's a great workout. That's just my routine. So that's how I started that when the divorce happened. It was just kind of like this way that I can deal with all the pain and everything. The counselor kind of encouraged me to do it. It helped, so.
Divorced by Beachbody, right? Where's your office at?
It's on Bell Vista and Warner. It's 1206, I think, East Warner. Let's make sure. I should know this.
That's okay.
1206 East Warner, Suite 214. It says 85296.
Suite 214?
Yeah. That's. It just kind of catches the street. You can see everything because I kind of turned it so we catch space. So I mean, if they do record stuff, even for a short amount.
And your Tesla has a camera on it too, yeah?
It does, yeah. I mean, give it the emergency assistance number.
There you go.
I started recording, so I think what happens is an
I hope it
accident
recorded.
automatically set to record, and I don't know if
that
shattering
okay.
would have caused it to record.
Just record from the front?
Yeah, front camera sits right up here, so it would have caught everything. Okay. Caught the shot. Maybe even personal.
Anything else you can think of right now?
I wish.
I gave you my card. Yeah, I gave you my card out there. You know what? Is this 702-7424? Okay, that's your cell.
And I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm probably going to leave, go to my parents' house. They live in Utah for a few days.
They live in Utah?
Yeah. I just don't want anyone to know where I'm at. I don't feel very safe.
For now, in the short term, stick here for now until we figure out what my next step's going to be as far as processing the scene and what we need from the other guys. Do you have any bad business things going on or anything?
No, I mean that's our home company. We're about to file litigation, but it's not like nobody hates each other. It's just they can't agree on the number, and neither can I. So we're gonna go to a mediator to figure out the number. But other than that,
when we're talking number, how much are we talking?
They want to pay me $40,000. I think it's worth $100,000. But to all of us, that's not a lot of money. Like we're talking about, it's a lot less, right? Mm-hmm. And all of us are pretty well, so it's not like any of us can.
Typically, it comes down to money or drugs, right? Or emotional stuff, but it doesn't sound like you have any emotional issues. Tell me you have any drug history or the family doesn't have any, and then so maybe it leads down to money. Right. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, but my ex doesn't. I don't know because everything's so strange now. But like,
Too much temple time.
I just don't think she would do that. Like, that's a very just. I never would have thought anyone would try to shoot.
Well, let's figure out exactly what happens to her. We're going to do our best to get some short-term answers, and then we can figure out what our next steps are going to be. Just actually be patient, because like I said, anytime the government gets involved, things slow down, right?
That's fine.
My cell's at the bottom. That's my work cell, so you can text or call that. I'll probably correspond with you throughout this with that number more than any other. Forgive my chicken scratch. It's 480-372-1061. I may have some other questions here shortly.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me right now?
No, I think as soon as I can leave, I'd feel more comfortable just not being here. But I can wait.
Okay. Yeah. For now, I need you to wait. I hope it's not going to take too long because the scene is not super complicated. But I need to talk to my counterparts here and see what they found, if anything, so far. Do me a favor. Don't contact Melanie yet. Don't contact. You contacted parents, which is fine.
My dad, I just thought I should tell him.
Yeah, but keep the communication pretty quiet right now until I get a better idea of what our next steps are.
Okay.
Anything else right now? All right, Brandon. Thank you for chatting with me. If you think of anything, you can wave me down, or hell, you can even text me. That'd probably be easier to get to me, even if I'm not seeing. Okay.
So we just hang out here and just kind of sit over there.
Yeah, if you want to sit with your buddies, and then once I think we're at a place where you can either take off.
Take that car. I'm assuming.
There's a good chance. I'll let you know here shortly. There's a good chance we're gonna at least get the projectile out. Depending upon how the camera system works, I might need to take it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe call, talk to somebody.
I know I have one of my fellow detectives working on that right now. So if we don't have to inconvenience you, we won't. But
I don't mind, honestly. Like I feel really uncomfortable. So things that I can do, like living without my car is not an issue.
Yeah, I need to get it back too. So
yeah, I know how it works, and I have plenty of them. Financially, I'm very stable, so I'm not worried about the cost of getting my car or anything else.
Good deal. Well, I'll get you some answers soon. If you think of stuff, like I said, take notes, even if it's in your phone, just to remember, because you'll forget. You're still in the little steady shot. Yeah, do you need anything from us right now?
I appreciate your help.
Okay. I'll be here, so I'll talk to you here in a minute. Okay.
All righty. Okay. Now prepare yourself, because we're gonna do this. All right. So this is Stacy Lynn Cox Cope divorce. This is Melani Boudreaux, Melani Cope Boudreaux Pulowski. They need to stop collecting last names. Okay, so this is the divorce papers between Steve Cope and Melani Boudreaux's mom, Stacy Cope. That's Lori and Alex's sister, who died when she was 31. And this is a declaration of petitioner Steve Cope in support of motion for temporary custody of Melanie. So this is back in, I don't know, 1842. No, I don't. August 4th, 1995. Right. So this is a throwback. Anyways, all right. Steve Cope is the petitioner. Stacy is the respondent. Steve W. Cope declares under the penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Washington based upon personal knowledge as follows. Number 1, my wife presents a sad, even pathetic case which, unfortunately, threatens grave and irreparable harm to our child. Melani, age 6. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was a whole new sentence. All right. It is with great sadness that I seek these restraining orders, but I believe that unless I am able to protect my 6-year-old daughter, Melani, and to provide a stable environment for her in which she is able to live and function in a normal fashion, that she will be irreparably harmed for far more than she is now. Okay, so at this point, Melani has missed over 6 months of school. Enamel on her teeth has not developed correctly, and she has developed some bizarre behaviors. Yeah, SRA behaviors, in my opinion. All right, anyway, so however, the situation has come to the point where, in order to protect Melani, I must act in a fashion which conflicts with what Stacy might desire, or even need. And my wife appears to be either passively and or actively suicidal. I believe that she needs to commit herself for long-term care, but she has refused to undertake the measures the doctors recommend. Hold on. Putting my smoke out. All right. It is my understanding that working with our church, we will be able to provide her with some location. Wait, what? He writes weird. All right. We will be able to provide her with some location where she is able to exist while she makes her decisions. Okay. Number 2, through a combination of physical, psychological, and emotional factors, my wife, Stacy, which is spelled wrong, has come to the point where her obsessive behaviors and habits are irreparably, he likes that word, damaging Melani. Stacy has a form of diabetes requiring regularly injected insulin, which she administers only sporadically. From about November of 1993 through February of 1994, Stacy enrolled in a correspondence course in naturopathic medicine. She began eating more, exercising less, and reducing her insulin injections, counterproductive to management of diabetes. From about that time, Stacy, spelled right, has acted on notions which have interfered with her own treatment and health. See below. But more relevant, have affected her ability to function as a parent for Melani and have done irreparable, that's 4 times, damage to Melani's teeth, mental health, and attendance at school. I am not sure what the ultimate cause is of Stacy's condition, or whether the condition is now irreversible, or if there is a cure, but I do know that she is out of control and unwilling or unable to set limits on her behavior. She must not involve Melani in her obsessions. Those obsessions include belief that food is evil and contains germs, and even that socializing with other children is contaminating. And I believe she is either actively or passively I almost said it. Suicidal. Okay. Number 3, Stacy, spelled wrong again. Okay, I'm sorry. Has interfered with Melani's entering and attending school. Melani has a deplorable attendance record for last year at school for the times when she was not in Los Angeles. Even though left to her own devices, Melani enjoys interacting with other children, attending school, etc. Stacy showed traces of Epstein-Barr in 1994, and she concluded without any warrant that, they underline things too, that Melani has Epstein-Barr. So, okay, so I have it, so she has it, right? So I looked that up because I was like, what the hell is that? And so it's the Epstein-Barr virus is one of the 9 known human herpes virus types in the herpes family and is one of the most common viruses in humans. EBV is a double-stranded DNA virus that is called herpes virus, human herpes virus. Epstein-Barr virus is the first identified oncogenic virus, I don't know how to say that, or a virus that can cause cancer. So that's just, a little, okay, come on. Let me find my little tab. Let's see this one. Oh, I can't find my way back. Okay, found it. All right. So I, as well as the wife of the bishop of our church, had arranged for Melanie to be driven to and from school. That's scary. So that whatever Stacy's condition, Melanie can have time away from the house. To no avail, as Stacy simply dismissed these efforts, or those efforts. If Melanie said, "I'm tired," or "I don't feel good," without further inquiry or effort, Stacy would not send her to kindergarten. In October 94, I made Melanie a wooden puzzle with 17 pieces, each of which was to be glued on for each day of kindergarten attended. It took 40 days for the puzzle to be completed. That doesn't really add up. I mean, well, how many days? Okay, so anyways, I feel that contact with the other children is essential. I had perfect attendance records for 3 years in my elementary school, and I am adamantly opposed to keeping Melanie away from school as it deprives her of normal socialization experience. We deal with this with my bonus children's mother, okay? I'm like, oh my God. It's aggravating. Especially not being, I'm just the step parent. So anyways, yet unless I remain at home to counteract Stacy, by default, Melanie will not go to school. Number 4, Stacy now detects her own problems in Melanie and has begun to impose her own peculiar notion of medical care upon Melanie to Melanie's detriment. Stacy has imposed a whole other range of fears and alleged conditions on Melanie. Stacy has a sugar problem. She concludes that Melanie cannot eat sugar and will hide sugar in order to eat any of the whole host of forbidden foods which are generally accepted as good for children. Stacy believes that milk is bad and only for cows. What? It comes out of cows? Anyways, Melanie is not allowed milk. And these foods are not allowed in the house and are returned if I buy them. So she straight up returns milk. That's crazy. It really is. That's obsessive right there, I think. Like, I don't even gripe if I'll order something and it has pickles or I'm just saying I love pickles, but something like that, I don't ever even send that back. You just pluck the damn things off and you go with it. Okay. But I mean, that's pretty extensive to me. Like that's a lot of effort. So it says Stacy fears the dentist, which is interesting in SRA cases, but has excessive tooth decay and oral hygiene problems due to her high blood sugar. Melanie now fears the dentist. Melanie's last 2 lower teeth came in without enamel due to a lack of calcium at the time they were growing in. A recommended treatment is fluoride pills, which, no bueno, which Stacy has refused to allow as it is unnatural. And he put that in quotes. Number 5, Stacy has developed a paranoid fear of various foods, whether for her own use or those of others. Among her beliefs are the following. Cucumbers and tomatoes must not only be peeled, but also washed before peeling to avoid pesticides and germs. Okay. Milk is a bad food, and Melanie cannot drink it. All foods are the source of germs, and all must be scrubbed excessively. Initially, insulin was the enemy, but from mid-1994, any food that might have sugar is not tolerated in the house and has become the enemy. By October 94, Stacy had dwindled down to 76 pounds. That is so alarming. 76 pounds. Wow. About 30 pounds under what she should weigh. Although I do cook our evening meals and have attempted to keep the house stocked with food, Stacy made it a habit to return to the store virtually all the food I had purchased. Often, when I have gone to the pantry in preparation for cooking a meal, I have found that there is literally nothing there, although I had just gone shopping. Number 4, Melanie has become the caretaker for her mother, swapping those roles. Believing that she is responsible for her mother. Y'all, that's where Lori gets the whole Tylee is my protector. Alex is, everybody is Lori's protector. I mean, that's in my opinion. Anyways, Stacy has only one other close friend in Washington, Linda Hagdahl. She rarely leaves the house and has gone to church but once or so in the last 8 months. Melanie will not go to church without her mother, so none of us go. The effect is that in her mother's presence and given her mother's demands, Melanie sacrifices her own, I'd say child, and just stop there. But anyways, I'm sorry. Melanie sacrifices her own childhood to caring for her mother. When she plays outside, Melanie checks back in frequently. That's kind of good. But in order to check on her mother, not the other way around. Ultimately, Melanie, who enjoyed kindergarten, started to talk about how she did not want to go. Yet in the presence of myself and others, she really wants to be with other children. See Declaration of Janet Wilcox. And that thing is crazy too. It's wild. 6, I struggled to maintain a normal life for Melanie. I work a normal work day as a human resource manager for Home Depot, which allows me somewhat flexible working hours. And I have been able to go home at lunch to take Melanie to the dentist or feed her lunch on occasion. For over a year, I've taken over all of the cooking as well as gradually the rest of the housekeeping. Most importantly, if Melanie is to have contact with other children or be involved in activities out of the home, I have provided it. We play ball together or go to the park, feed the ducks, go to the aquarium, etc. And I would like to involve Melanie in such activities as swimming and school, to which Stacy is opposed due to her fears of germs, foods, etc. Number 7, in late March, Stacy, though herself unable to care for Melanie with her mother, absconded with Melanie to California. So this would be Janice, right? In late March, Stacy, though herself unable to care for Melanie with her mother, absconded with Melanie to California without my knowledge or agreement. I was powerless to stop this as I was returning from a business trip from Atlanta. When I left, Janet Wilcox had been acting as nanny, but Stacy asked her mother, Janice Cox, to come in Janet's stead. What? I was told that Stacy's mother would leave for California the day I came home. Instead, Stacy and her mother left with Melanie 4 hours before my scheduled return. That is some calculating shit. Just saying. The whole lot of them, okay? And says, I believe that Stacy may attempt to take Melanie again, and I am unwilling to allow Melanie to be raised under the conditions which Stacy might provide. Here we go. Number 8. Woo. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. Stacy's family are inappropriate caretakers for Melanie. Mm-hmm. Not only does Melanie not want to be there, but I fear the effect of prolonged exposure to them on Melanie. When I finally brought Melanie and Stacy back from California, Melanie had begun displaying rather odd behaviors. So just think about that. Melanie was gone with her mom and Janice back to Barry's residence. Okay. And then she comes back acting really weird. She took a pair of scissors and hacked off her hair in a straight line, which she now always covers with a baseball hat. She insists she is a boy, and upon meeting new people will insist, quote, call me AJ, Alex, or Bobby, and I am 3 years old, unquote. So she was 6 years old, and now When she does that, she begins talking in a different pitch, as if she were 3 years old. Something weird has happened to Melanie. That's scary. Number 9, Stacy has always admitted to me and others that her family was a psychological hornet's nest. I mean, that is just a good overall description, in my opinion. She has admitted that her father was diagnosed as schizophrenic and that her mother, Janice Cox, is obsessed with issues of weight. physical appearances, and feminine bodies. Stacy now blames the origin of her problems on food, although it is clear that they originated because of her refusal to administer her insulin program on any consistent basis. Her mother has always been obsessive about any weight gain and issues of food intake. Do y'all not remember? And I watched this right before coming on. Megan Connor's interview with Hidden True Crime, and she talks about how her Aunt Janice would chew the food and then spit it into the napkin. She wouldn't swallow it because she just wanted to taste the food, not, reap all the consequences of it. Yeah, And then you've got to think about how when Tylee, in the house that my uncle was killed in, Tylee's room, they did a walkthrough, the police did, so there's body cam footage. So I took a screenshot of, there was a whiteboard in Tylee's room and it had a regimen on there, diet, what to eat, exercise, only this much per day, blah, blah, blah. So that is a very, very common sign in SRA cases. Ritualistic abuse is what I'm talking about. So, just all that right there was just so alarming. All of it. All of it thus far. How about that? I'm not a professional or expert. I have a little common sense. And anyway, you do too. So, all right. I cannot help but conclude that those behaviors have contributed to Stacy's problems, and I do not want Melanie to be exposed further to them. Stacy's current condition is her own choice, despite the constant urging of others, lay, medical, and clergy, that she participate in other courses of treatment. Stacy's condition is not just inevitable, but the result of her own opinions and choices, from which she cannot be swayed. In 1990, Stacy was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic insulin dependent. She must take insulin by shot since her pancreas secretes no insulin and her sugar levels are therefore very hard to manage. Stacy is required to inject insulin, to monitor her blood sugar closely, and to adhere to a regime of healthy and frequent eating, as well as exercising to reduce her need for insulin. Because she is prone to stress as well as type 1 diabetic, the disease was difficult for her to manage. Stress increases the body's use of sugar. Rather than following medical advice, she did what was counter-indicated. She began eating more, exercising less, and reducing her insulin intake. By the time we moved to Federal Way in November of 92, the problems with management were apparent. Although I'm not certain that Stacy did not just welcome the weight loss as quote unquote slenderizing. That's 76 pounds. That's danger zone. For about 2 years, she managed this regime satisfactorily, although with difficulty, since it involves constant monitoring of sugar levels, which vary with amount and type of food, stress, exercise, etc. However, in about October of 93, Stacy enrolled in a naturopathy correspondence course, and since about February 1994, she has refused to administer and take her insulin on a regular basis. She has, eschewed? I don't know. The attempts of physicians to help, which have included telling her that she needs antidepressants, that she now needs either intravenous provision of nutrients, an A-line, or direct provision of nutrients to her intestines, a shunt or J-tube. She has attempted to self-medicate her condition with naturopathic medicines. She insists that eating raw garlic before bed, which she also makes Melanie do, is sufficient to ward off disease. She has become paranoid about possible contamination from contacts with strangers and their germs, affecting Melanie's participation in a normal social world. The results of this course of action are disastrous, and the effects bear not only on me, but more importantly on Melanie. For example, Stacy has lived with a dangerously elevated level of sugar in her blood. The situation was potentially life-threatening. Stacy's rate is 3 to 4 times normal, and the highest, that's high because Jason's diabetic too. So and the highest they have seen. According to both doctors, Charles Brinegar and Larry Stonesfer, both endocrinologists, by mid-1994, Stacy regarded insulin as the enemy. But by the end of the year, she began obsessively regarding virtually all food as poison. She has suffered dental disease from high sugar, infections, including vaginal infection. Oh, Lord. Because of her failure to eat and fearing sugar, she also developed gastroparesis. I think gastroparesis. I don't know. Her gastrointestinal system began to shut down as the nerves were affected by the high sugar. The only way to immediately treat this is by bypassing all or part of the gastrointestinal system, intravenously or by a shunt or J-tube. In the middle of last year, Stacy began fearing sugar, foods, and germs. Melanie's toys must be rubbed down with alcohol periodically, and especially if any other children use them. Although I love swimming, I participated on my school's swim teams and want Melanie to enjoy swimming. Stacy will not allow her to swim in pools. The germs are there. Our toilet must be alcoholed regularly, rubbing down with cotton balls of alcohol, and Melanie cannot use public facilities. There are germs there. Stacy's problems are psychological as well as physical in cause, but she denies both. Stacy has admitted to me, as well as others, that all the various doctors who have dealt with her endocrine problems have told her she needs psychiatric help as well. In May 1994, Dr. Brinegar, endocrinologist located in Loma Linda, California. In June 1994, Dr. Larry D. Stonesfer, internal medicine and endocrinologist located in Federal Way, Washington. Dr. Gary Ensman, Seattle, 1995, as well as Dr. Spratt, whose advice she disregarded in removing the IV without putting in a shunt. She has been prescribed antidepressants on several occasions, but she will not use them, nor will she address the problem. After she was hospitalized 3 times for about 2.5 weeks in December 1994, she had to take nutrients either intravenously or directly administered through a J-tube into her intestine. Each method has risk, but intravenous feeding is more risky because of the risk of infection traveling through the tube to her heart. Before returning home in late June, Stacy refused to have the J-tube implanted and had the intravenous mechanism removed against doctor's advice. She now will not take insulin to control the sugar problems, nor direct administration of nutrients to deal with the effects of not controlling the sugar. As I understand it, most food passes through her without being absorbed or utilized by her body. Her condition is and continues to be the result of her choices. Stacy's behavior is often out of control. By November 1994, Stacy weighed 76 pounds. As her endocrines and sugars fluctuated, Stacy's behaviors became more erratic. She has had few friends except Janet Wilcox, although some acquaintances through church. Hold on, I gotta take a sip. I am freezing. Anyway. Okay, in April of 1994, in a discussion over medical issues, she came unglued. She began spitting, blowing snot onto me, and threatening to hit me with a mug. I called the police. It was May 1994 when Dr. Brinegar told her she needed antidepressants. At about that time, when we were with my brother and his fiancée Paula to a restaurant, Stacy left the table crying and locked herself in the restroom for almost an hour. In September 94, when I invited my brother and his wife to stay the night, Stacy had another tantrum, 2 hours on the floor screaming and kicking her feet. Other than the hysterical peaks, Stacy is either unable to move or is irritable. Just before Thanksgiving, she lost sensation in her extremities. Oh, wow. Both I and Janet Wilcox urged her to go to the hospital. She refused, and we went to Hawaii. That was the only place that would make her happy or otherwise please her. Stacy collapses, losing feeling in her extremities, a sign of extreme sugar problems, but insists on going to Hawaii. Although I attempted to get her to a hospital, she would not go. Instead, from November 30th, 1993 to December 7th, 1993, we vacationed in Hawaii, going and returning through Los Angeles, since our parents live in San Bernardino, however you say it. I virtually loaded her off the plane and into the oh my gosh. I virtually loaded her off the plane and into the Loma Linda Hospital. Stacy has been avoiding taking the insulin. She spent 2.5 weeks through 3 admissions and releases over the next month, and we had to have Christmas in San Bernardino. I remained in San Bernardino with Stacy and in and out of the hospital, but finally I had to return home to my job, leaving Melanie with her grandparents. Oh God, since I believe this was just a temporary situation. I returned at Christmas for another week, just long enough to help admit Stacy to the hospital and for another week. Stacy said her stomach felt like it was devouring itself. In addition to stomach pain, she was weak and fatigued. I went back home, leaving Melanie and expecting her quick return home. Stacy suffered another collapse and was admitted several times to Loma Linda Hospital between January and early March, when she returned home with Melanie. In late December or early January, the doctors had found that as a result of Stacy's high blood sugar, which was killing nerves and her lack of eating, Stacy had essentially destroyed the ability of her gastrointestinal system to pass and absorb food through the stomach and intestinal system. She now had developed Psoriasis? I don't know. Stacy was in and out of the hospital until her return to Seattle in the beginning of March. During this time, Melanie stayed with Stacy's parents and her sister. Stacy has refused both medically accepted methods of providing her nutriment. Okay, I'm sorry. Stacy has refused both medically accepted methods of providing her nutriment, to the detriment of her physical, mental, and emotional well-being, as well as the impact of that of Melanie. In December 1994, Stacy began receiving intravenous feedings via a tube sutured into her shoulder. Ow. This is considered somewhat risky medically because of the danger of infection, which, if it comes through the tube, will go directly to the heart, which the possibility of rapid death. Stacy did get a streptococcus infection, and at one point the tube was removed but then reinserted. At that time, she discussed with me the alternatives offered her by her doctors, either the intravenous or a J tube, which allows nutriments to be directly placed into the lower intestine, avoiding problems with the arteries. Stacy refused to use the J tube, even though she told me that the doctors considered the intravenous feedings more risky due to the possibility of infections. I urged Stacy repeatedly to follow her doctor's advice, but she refused. From December through March, I spent about 8 4-day weekends in San Bernardino while Stacy remained there, in and out of the hospital. In mid-March, she returned home with the intravenous feeding device. She began really obsessing about sugar, telling me she could see the crystals in the fluid bag from which the nutrients drained into her. And virtually warring to keep it out of the house. She continued articulating exaggerated fears relating to any contact of Melanie with foods with other children. I'm sorry, I ran on with that. But anyway, so Melanie now exhibits signs of stress and emotional damage. Most of these behaviors occur in Melanie's presence, and they have affected her adversely. When she is in Stacy's presence, Melanie washes her hands about 25 to 30 times a day, about 4 times an hour. Melanie, though age 6, now will not sleep alone, but wants to sleep in bed with her parents. She loves milk and cereal, but her mother has decided that milk is bad for her and will not allow her to drink it unless I insist. She is afraid of dentists, although she has had virtually no experience with them. Stacy would not let her go swimming in a swimming pool. It has germs. When Melanie went to kindergarten, Stacy told her that the school and public bathrooms were dirty in a Federal Way elementary school and that she should not use them at all. As a consequence, Melanie became convinced that she should not go to school. Pled ill and was allowed not to go. Stacy will not allow her. Stacy will not allow her to play with toys handled by other children unless they are dipped in or cleaned off with alcohol. I have enrolled Melanie in the first grade next year, and I want her to have that experience, free from exaggerated fears about quote unquote dirt and germs and other children. Stacy either cannot nor will not control her obsessions with these matters. Number 20, Stacy is suicidal. Early in our marriage, Stacy threatened offing herself and said that she had taken a bottle of pills, or a bottle of bills, it says. But before I called 911, she told me not to, and that she said this just to get my attention. Attention. By October 94, Stacy began talking again of self-deletion. While I did everything to tell her life was worth living, nonetheless, she continued to ruminate on the idea. In May, she became more insistent on self-deletion as a remedy to her problems. Dr. Spratt, then treating her, offered incidents worried me. Okay. Stacy had asked a nurse how much insulin she would have to take to go into an insulin coma and die. Stacy soon became quite open with me. On or about May 21st, this is around the time of her death, I think, 1995, judging from my long-distance telephone bill, she called me on the telephone, and she said words to the effect of, quote, "Steve, I've done everything that I can. I've talked to Barry and Janice," those are her parents, "and we agree it's my time to go," unquote. She then solicited my input on it. On May 22nd, she called and said words to the effect of, quote, "I have no hope. I have no faith. If I have to get another A-line, I'll tell them I just can't do it. I can't hang on anymore. If I don't make it, you'll know what happened. I've given it my best shot," unquote. On May 25th, she called and said, quote, "I feel like taking a whole bottle of insulin, but with my luck, I wouldn't die," unquote. On May 31st, she phoned me to say words to the effect of, quote, "I really want to die. I would like to be her." Okay, I get it. "I would like to be her, Melanie's mommy, but I can't do it when I feel like this. I'd rather just let go and die," unquote. Poor thing. Because Stacy was in the hospital and I was in Seattle, I could do little except talk to doctors without bringing her back to Seattle, which is what I did at the end of June. However, it was and is my feeling that Stacy has now decided she will die. She was advised to replace the intravenous feeding device, the A-line, with a shunt or J-tube, which is less susceptible to infection, by putting nutrients into the intestines rather than the bloodstream. Instead, she instructed her doctors against medical advice to remove the A-line without putting in a shunt. In other words, when she takes in most foods, she does not digest them. At this juncture, my only course is to protect Melanie from inappropriate involvement with her mother's choices of action or inaction relating to her diseases. I have sought help from friends and the church, and that's what I guess, but demonstrated, I don't know. And I have demonstrated endlessly with Stacy, or remonstrated. I've never seen remonstrated, if that is a word. I could not make her do what the doctors recommended and which she decided against. Stay on her insulin regime, stay on her nutrient regime. The only thing I can do to insulate Melanie from appropriate involvement in those matters I believe Melanie needs contact with her mother, but that the contact can only be in the presence of a responsible supervisor. And I want Melanie to be free, to be a child, and to be taken care of rather than the caretaker of her mother. I got to mute. Yeah, I know. I liked it. It was pretty cool. I don't really go with this though. All right, let's see. Back to it. That's devastating. Okay, gotta find it. Somewhere over here. Okay. All right. Ruh-roh. I see a cuss word. Okay. I gotta find out where I was. Okay. Yeah. In June, let's see. All right. In June, I demanded that. Did I say that already? Yeah. No, I didn't. In June, I demanded that Stacy and Melanie return home, and they did. But Stacy became more demanding and more obsessed. While I made one, while I made one weekend trip to LA, I could not fly there each weekend. I hate when that happens. In the meantime, during the week before we left San Bernardino, Stacy had the intravenous tubing removed. She told me it was she told me it, quote, IV or nothing, unquote. And she had decided against IV. Melanie's behaviors become more extreme. Stacy now was alone in the house with Melanie all day, and she would not allow me to hire a nanny. Melanie, who has been raised as a Christian, began using words like shit and other obscenities, as well as wanting to dress only like a boy. So you got to think about it. She wanted to be called Alex, Bobby, or Al. She wore her hair in a cap. She cut her hair off like a boy cut, I guess. Now she's wanting to dress like a boy too. And I mean, okay, whatever. Just saying, these are alarming in the context of the larger picture, in my opinion, from my research the last 6 years of the SRA stuff, the satanic ritual abuse or the ritual abuse. Anyways, that's just so alarming. And Stacy too, Lori too. They all, anyways, just from what I know, and I'm a nobody, so. Stacy decided she would, quote, homeschool, unquote, Melanie for first grade, which would result in Melanie's complete isolation since other children are the source of germs and food, which I'm sorry, it just made me think about Lori and how she got rid of the kids, but like she did so with Tylee in the sense that she had Tylee get her GED. She was emancipated, and then, or I don't know if she was, I really don't know where to find that out, if she was emancipated or not, I don't know if it was started and she didn't finish. I don't even know where to find that at. But, and then also with JJ, she stripped him away from everything and isolated. So, I mean, it is a little scary. I'm not saying Stacy was going to do anything other than to herself, if Steve is, being truthful in this, of course, but, yeah, it's very sad. This is the tragedy. Stacy decided, okay, so which would result in Melanie's complete isolation since the other children I already said that. Whatever was done in the house, either Melanie or I did, and I was not allowed to bring food except as it was peeled, alcoholed, cooked, and or otherwise sterilized in. I bet that was some nasty food. And then only if it did not contain any sugar. Had to be disgusting. Okay. Melanie and I leave on July 28th, Friday. I told Stacy I was going fishing at Redondo Beach early Saturday morning, about 15 minutes from the house for about 3 hours. Stacy had another tantrum, yelling, screaming, and carrying on. All of this in front of Melanie. I realized that I could not help her change, and that the behaviors which she cannot or will not control are affecting Melanie. I asked Melanie if she wanted to go with me for a ride. When she said yes, I I packed up her clothes and belongings. I'm sorry, that's a done sentence. I packed up her clothes and belongings. When we left the house, I told her mommy and daddy were fighting and it was better to leave than to argue. She did not object. She's 6 or whatever. I don't know how old she is at this time. We have spent the past week with my brother and his wife, where Melanie has been enjoying normal play with normal children and normal food. I called President Mitchell, who is the president of our church body, Bishop Russell Snow, and Bishop Edwards, and asked that the church look in on Stacy to ensure that she is cared for, insofar as she will allow it. In order that Melanie and I can return to the house, I am asking that Stacy be required to vacate it on or before Sunday night. I have arranged for my mother to come to be with Melanie while I work, either until her first grade begins or until I can find someone for a long-term arrangement. Given her inability to limit her own behavior with Melanie, I am asking that Stacy's contact with Melanie be only under supervised conditions and limited so that Melanie is protected from feeling she is the caretaker. Stacy has enjoyed the luxury of making her own choices. Under the circumstances, those choices are now very limited. She can seek intensive out or inpatient treatment. She can remain here and continue her existence relying on friends, or she can possibly go back to her parents. I cannot trust Stacy not to talk about these matters with Melanie. And even if she were to agree, I have no doubt that she might enlist her family to convey her wishes. Ew. That's eerie. Just that, I mean, all of it's eerie, but that's just ominous right there. I have no doubt that she might enlist her family to convey her wishes. Oh my God. Whew. Melanie must be protected from this. Dated this 4th day of August, 1995, and signed in Seattle, Washington. Whoa. What the hell do y'all think about all that jazz? That is some crazy. I've never read it like out loud, and I'm sorry, I suck at it, but it's hard to read some people's the way they talk, you know. Hold on, I just want to look this up. Okay. Where's the core TV one? I just had it on earlier. Damn it. Let's see. Just hang tight. Huh. Okay. That's weird. All right. Let me try this. Core TV. Because they did a story on it. I just want to see really the date on in which Stacy died. I know it was that year, I want to say. Oh, y'all look. I finally made it on the first page. You Google something, especially as specific as this. Just kidding. But look. Wow. This never happened before. Not that it means anything, but I'm just, anyways. Oh well, I'll just. Oh, right here. Hello. I guess that's not it. All right, forget it. Forget about it. Okay, forget about it. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that just for a minute. Okay, that was heavy. That was so heavy, and I mean. What I saw is that Steve was very educated about his wife's experience, her disease, all her issues. Okay. He seemed like he was researching them, being educated about it. Forget about it. Yeah. Yeah. You can see how Melanie could be easily manipulated now, especially calling them mom and dad. And I don't know, but so how do you get to, so a person can be manipulative and be manipulated, or how's that work? Yeah, Rachel, I concur with that. And that's just, I mean, okay, so we have Stacy, Alex, Lori. You know, they went, I mean, I'm just saying, like, Lori and Alex went off the damn deep end, but Stacy, it was extreme there too. It's just, it was with her diet, with sugars, it was with her health, it was with germs, it was like an OCD. And then the boundaries, the enmeshed family stuff, that's where Megan, you know, I'm sure it's hard for her to talk about it because, you know, she, it's sad. This is the tragedy. These are the tragedies of the generational stuff, I think. And if we don't learn how to talk with one another instead of just avoidant and just putting on a facade, like I believe is what's happening here, and for sure in the Cox family, it happens in all kinds of families, but there's nothing wrong with admitting your flaws. Okay. I do it every damn day. Okay, Donnell. That in itself right there, what Steve basically kind of kidnapped he kidnapped his daughter, basically. He whisked her away under false pretenses. And I mean, that's got to stick with her. It's got to be a trauma for Melanie. Yeah. Angela says, wow, a whole lot of generational trauma and toxic family systems and behavior patterns, narcissism, etc., in my opinion. Oh, I know what. Yeah. So earlier, thank you, Angela. You brought this up. Yes, mental health awareness. There's so many of these causes, you know, it's like they're all over this case. Okay. And they're all over a lot of cases, but this case, oh my gosh, they're everywhere. You got autism. You've got, maybe the Munchausen's stuff, you know, the enmeshment, the domestic violence, you got murder, kid murder, you got it all. It's crazy. There's so many, there are so many red. I didn't know this though. I didn't know to look for these things, but I mean, you don't know unless you're subjected to them and you know, like go through them. I mean, I didn't know them, but I'm just saying in my own family, in myself, in my own life. So what I did was, because I was listening to Hidden True Crime earlier with Megan, her first interview. And so I don't know if I can get to the damn top. Okay. Finally made it. I'm like, what is the underlying antagonism in this context? And so I put in what Barry Cox had used as his description in his book on how to dismantle the IRS. Okay. And so I pasted that in there. And so I'm asking my AI ChatGPT this. And so this is what he wrote. Not what it wrote. This is what he wrote it's in his book. In the description, it says, this book, how the American public can dismantle the IRS, is dedicated to the inspired ideals promised to the free people of the United States of America. Our patriot and Paladin, I guess I don't know how to say it, Paladin, I don't know, Paladin, immigrant ancestors. So that's what I was like, what the hell are we talking about ancestors for? Talking about dismantling the IRS, not talking about freaking ancestry.com. Okay. Our patriot and Paladin immigrant ancestors vigorously promulgated and selflessly defended these laws against the imperial British tyrant and despotic. Y'all, I sound like a freaking 2-year-old here. I cannot pronounce things that I've never seen before. Despotic. Whatever. I'm trying to find it again. Where'd it go? Am I tripping? Here, how about this? I got this.
The underlying antagonism in the provided context is between the author and the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, and the federal income tax system. The author views the IRS as having an, quote, illegal origin and evil purpose, and believes the federal income tax is a myth. This antagonism is framed as a continuation of the historical struggle for freedom against tyrannical government, comparing the IRS to the imperial British tyrant and despotic government propaganda of King George III. From the author's statement, we can glean the following personality traits: strongly patriotic/nationalistic, the dedication to quote, patriot and paladin immigrant ancestors, and the emphasis on American foundational documents, Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights, highlight a strong sense of patriotism. Anti-government/libertarian leaning. The deep distrust of the IRS and the desire to dismantle it suggest a strong skepticism towards governmental power, particularly in the realm of taxation. This leans towards libertarian ideals of individual liberty and limited government. Passionate/idealistic. The use of strong and evocative language, inspired ideals, cherished rights, inalienable, evil purpose, indicates a passionate belief in certain principles of freedom and justice. Confrontational/defiant.
Oh, yeah.
The very act of writing a book titled How the American Public Can Dismantle the IRS shows a willingness to directly challenge a powerful government institution. Suspicious/distrustful. Describing the IRS as having an illegal origin and evil purpose reveals a significant level of suspicion and distrust towards the government and its agencies. Potentially dogmatic/uncompromising. The strong declarative statements and the portrayal of the issue in stark terms of truth and justice versus myths and evil suggest a potentially rigid and uncompromising viewpoint.
Oh my God. That is, Lori is Barry Jr. Okay. That is what it is. Oh yeah. Here's Joe Schmo's channel. Y'all go sub up to him, as will our Trace. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm jumping in here. If you want to laugh, look up Sovereign Citizens. I have it but it's aggravating to watch. Sometimes I watched the whole Daryl Brooks trial just under like trying to just kind of prepare myself for what if Lori were to defend herself or whatever. And I'll be damned. I'm so glad I watched it. That was so hard to get through. That judge for sure has the patience of a saint too. And so I asked it again, or asked it something else. The reference to our patriot, and I think she said paladin, paladin immigrant ancestors. What is this about? And so the next one says, hope you don't mind. This is how I learn, okay?
The reference to, quote, our patriot and paladin immigrant ancestors, in this context, is the author's way of invoking the spirit and legacy of those who fought for American independence from Great Britain.
He invoked the damn spirit, y'all. It's the Nephi of the damn IRS, okay? Oh my God. Okay, but you want to know what's really alarming is a pattern that I've noticed, and it's for sure Barry. Barry, I mean, he was sued by the IRS, lost their house eventually because they put their house in, allegedly, in Alex's name, and then I think Alex pissed off, I don't know, he pissed off the money or something, and they lost their damn house while his dad was in prison, while Barry was in prison. Something like that. Don't quote me because I don't know. Don't come after me, Cox. Anyways. Oh no, John. Lori, Chad, and Daryl Brooks are stranded on a desert island. Oh, I thought you were going to say, marry one? No. Lori looks at Chad and says, I think we should see other people, right? They already did. They know. Okay, but what I concluded is you can see a very clear pattern of behavioral pattern where Barry's pissed off at the IRS. Barry was held accountable by IRS, okay, for not paying the IRS. You're not top 5%er, okay? Maybe you are. Maybe you sacrificed your first child, or maybe, I don't know. I wasn't there. But it's a clear, you can see the motive, you can see them retaliate and hold long grudges and just this, long held retaliatory behavior where they're just like, oh yeah. And it's like revenge. It is revenge. Alex, the same with Joe Ryan, whenever he attacked Joe. Okay. And he got sent to quote unquote prison or jail or whatever for just not long enough, obviously. Alex wrote Mary, his friend, from jail, and something along the lines of, there's a couple guys in here that, basically want to hang around with Joe. He was being threatening. He was asking for her to tell Janice to get Joe's license plate number, which is so much so that Alex can depend on his mom to do his bidding for him, just like what Steve Cope said here, where he was afraid that Stacy was going to enlist her family to carry out, you know what I'm saying? And then you have Lori, who my mom, by no fault of her own, she was named as my uncle's beneficiary of his life insurance policy because he was scared for his life. But he should have listened and heeded Nancy Joe's warning, or advice to let Lori know that he changed it. And then there wouldn't be like a benefit to her doing that. So, but I think that because my mom got the insurance money, that really pissed Lori off, even though she says she was not pissed. Okay. A lot of somebody else, sister. Okay. But so then I believe that was part of the reason for killing JJ, or it was just like it was just like a double doozy for Lori. Cause I really think Lori and Chad and Alec, all of them, I believe this is part of this. It was part of the plan. Like, it was like, okay, it's like she had a damn checklist and she was just going down the line. Palatine. I don't know. Oh my God. I do look like my mom. I cut my hair. My dad also called Lowell Lee Andrews. I have pictures and police report on it. Oh yeah. Remember when I found that heart in your dad's picture? I think, yeah. In the top left corner-ish area. Her dad, yeah, she showed me some really cool pictures. Detective's daughter. Want in disregard for the law and the land and anything else as well. It's like revenge. It's like, oh, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to plot your death. And that is scary. That's like so mob like. Yeah, we're so lucky. Yeah, so lucky. And it was real, if you go watch the interview that I did with my mom recently, and I got her, I asked her about, because I knew that she was having to duck, and I just didn't know. I never heard her just say it at that time, and it was like hearing it for the first time on my channel not long ago, whenever I asked her, or to tell people about how she acted, what she carried around the house with her. Even she carried her pistol with her around the house while Alex was alive. This is just after Uncle Charles was murdered. And so mom said she would go watch TV, and at night, my mom's a night owl too. And so, and they had a big picture window, and you can actually kind of see it in some of the earlier news reports that my parents did, with when they were looking for the kids. And so, there wasn't like a window covering at all for it. And so my mom would just kind of, there was a bar there. So you kind of get between that and the window. And so she would like kind of duck on the couch and keep her head below. I'm like, oh my God. Do you even hear what you're saying? Like, that is so sad. And it's like, it pisses me off all at the same time. Like, what the, they're like terrorists, terroristic, domestic terrorists. Okay. I said it. So I'm going to play this next little part.
Let's break down the meaning.
Let's continue Barry Cox.
This suggests the author is identifying themselves and their intended audience, American citizens, as descendants or inheritors of the values and actions of these ancestors. Patriot. This refers to the individuals who supported the American Revolution and fought for independence from British rule. They were dedicated to the cause of the newly forming nation and its ideals of liberty and self-governance. Paladin. This word evokes the image of a heroic champion or a strong defender of a noble cause. By using paladin, the author emphasizes the bravery, righteousness, and selflessness they attribute to these ancestors in their fight against perceived oppression. Immigrant ancestors. This acknowledges that many of the early settlers and revolutionaries were immigrants who came to America seeking freedom and opportunity. This part of the phrase likely aims to connect with a broader sense of American identity, rooted in immigration and the pursuit of liberty. In essence, the author is drawing a parallel between the fight against the British monarchy in the 18th century and their current opposition to the IRS and federal income tax. By referring to these patriot and paladin immigrant ancestors, the author is establishing a historical precedent. They are suggesting that their fight against the IRS is in line with the historical struggle for freedom against governmental overreach, lending legitimacy to their cause. By associating their views with the revered figures of the American Revolution, they aim to make their arguments more persuasive and appealing to patriotic sentiments, appealing to a sense of American identity. They are trying to connect with readers who identify with the values of freedom, independence, and resistance to tyranny, framing their fight as a continuation of that historical legacy.
Okay. That part was a little boring for me. But it gets better. Okay, so I asked about what it means to be part of the. I said opposite of what Megan said. How Barry would say the because I couldn't remember. She hadn't said it yet in the interview again to refresh my memory. So here we go.
I haven't encountered the expression being part of the top 5%ers as a widely known idiom. It's possible this phrase originates within a specific group or community. To understand where this expression comes from and which, quote, elite group might preach this rhetoric, I would need more context or to do some
So yeah, I did. That's very deceptive in my opinion. She did that as if to imply that Tylee had passed 18 years, like that Tylee was alive. It was very manipulative in my opinion. Good. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I remember that. That was terrible. Lori is horrible. Okay.
Online searching. Ugh. Would you be able to provide any additional information about where you encountered this phrase? For example, did you see it in a book, hear it in a conversation, or see it online?
Hold on.
In the meantime,
that's the wrong one. My bad.
Yes, the rhetoric of, quote, being part of the top 5%ers can certainly be associated with a superiority complex. Here's why. Exclusivity and hierarchy. The phrase inherently creates a sense of exclusivity and hierarchy, positioning a small group as being above the vast majority. Potential for elitism. Emphasizing being in the top 5% can foster an us versus them mentality, where the achievements and perspectives of this group are seen as more valuable or important than those of others. Validation of status. For some, identifying with such a group might serve as a way to validate their status, intelligence, or worth based on external metrics like financial success. This can sometimes lead to a feeling of being inherently better. Dismissiveness. The rhetoric could be used to dismiss the concerns or experiences of those outside the top 5%, implying their struggles are due to a lack of effort or ability compared to the top performers. Whether it always indicates a superiority complex depends on the context is used. It could sometimes simply be a statement of fact, or an aspirational goal within a specific industry, as seen with the banking example. However, if the emphasis is consistently on the perceived superiority, and the rhetoric is used to belittle or disregard others, then it strongly suggests the presence of a superiority complex. The underlying message can easily become, we are better than you because we are in the top 5%.
Damn. All right, so hold on. Hold, please. I'm sorry, I keep smoking, so my cigarette goes out, and then I'm like, damn it, let me finish. Yeah, I know. I hope we don't either. I hope we don't get another. Yeah. I'm so happy Texas changed our last meal. Oh, yeah. Detective Czar, you need to come on and talk about all that crap, girl. And also, Allison, I think she's going to come back on with me next Sunday. So, I mean, thank y'all so much. Y'all really welcomed her. And she found a lot of healing in that. So I'm so glad. Allison dated my uncle for quite a while. He was like her best friend, you know, and I wish things would have turned out differently, you know. I wouldn't be here talking to you good people, but, you know, here we are. And I keep saying, you know, so let me stop that shit. It really does suck. I'm going to just pull this up so we can hear Megan say it herself. Okay, I'm going to just play this part up here.
What we're dealing with here too. You know, all of us and me included have had to look back and say, well, I came from this family system too. And it's sort of a there, but for the grace of God, go I thing. You know, why was Lori, how did Lori get to that place, but I didn't, you know?
You mentioned a couple of things I want to bring up because it relates to Zulema's testimony in court this week. And I find it really interesting that I'm seeing a pattern with Lori. Religion was a big part of their life. You say, as you say, Barry liked to pontificate. He liked to bring up current events. And when he did bring up current events, religion was always involved, which means that religion was sort of fit into even non-religious things at the house. They were very LDS, or, you know, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But you mentioned that you and Lori were drinking, and there's no judgment there. A lot of younger kids drink, whether they're LDS or not LDS. But when it comes to Lori, it's really interesting because she's so religious. She's so
very religious.
I don't even know if I want to say faithful, because she's also a criminal behind bars, but she's so
exploitative.
She's so enmeshed with her religious ideology. My husband has almost said it's like her identity.
Mm-hmm.
Zulema brought up that Lori was always sort of changing the rules, though, that the rules didn't apply to her. In the LDS faith, alcohol is not involved, and sex before marriage is not involved. And there's this, it's what many, call a high demand religion. And again, while teenagers rebel, and that's expected, with Lori, it's sort of this contradiction. Does that, you know what I mean? Like there's this, I don't know how to explain. There's this odd, blinder factor. Is that true? Did the rules not apply to her?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You'll see that with, we saw that with Barry, right? He wrote this huge long brief against the government for, trying to dismantle the IRS, and then published that into a book later. And so definitely you have Barry, who thinks that he's above the law. I mean, he went
to prison for this, and then wrote the book after. Talk about,
Well, I don't know if that's true. From what I understand, and I haven't read the book, from what I understand, the book is actually just an expansion of his legal brief that he wrote. Okay. I don't think there's much more added to it than that. But yes, he served time in prison for tax evasion. And he also practiced law without a law license. And, he was an estate planner, but he was not an attorney. So he wasn't allowed to say he was an estate planner, but he did anyway. There's this whole dynamic from Barry that he's above the law. He's better than everyone else. And I will tell you, the most pervasive thing that runs throughout the cult of cops is this concept of the lower 95. We heard this all the time from Barry. He would say, it basically meant he would make an offhanded comment about somebody doing something stupid, and he would say, well, that's the lower 95. And what he meant was that 95% of the population are stupid, arrogant, lazy, ugly. And the other 5% are the successful ones and the smart ones and the beautiful people. And he absolutely considered himself and his family to be in that top 5%. Oh, and that theme came up all the time. It was what drove all of their thoughts and opinions, that they were more beautiful than everyone else. They were more successful than everyone else. They were smarter than everyone else. And we even felt that, we felt from my family system, we felt less than, or treated less than, and it also went to this whole obsession with outward appearances, and just the beauty aspect of everything. It was like, you always got complimented on what you looked like before anybody said anything else. You would walk in the door in the Cox household, and they would say, oh my gosh, you're looking so beautiful. Your hair is so wonderful. It was like this fake, very sugary, sweet sort of, I just love your outfit. Oh my gosh, you're looking so wonderful. And your children are so beautiful. It was not like, how are things going? Are you okay?
Wow.
It was never any of that kind of conversation. And that's what I think, explains this disconnect that you see in Lori's behavior, where she wants to appear super religious, but in reality, she's not. And I remember being super shocked. One of those first times we went to visit, we would go to church with the Coxes, and we'd go to sacrament meeting. And then after sacrament meeting was over, Lori and Adam wanted to load us up in the car and go to Del Taco. And I was shocked, because you don't do that. Like, you go to all 3 hours of church. You don't ever go anywhere on Sunday.
Wow.
You don't go to fast food restaurants. You don't spend money. You keep the Sabbath day holy. You go home and study the scriptures, or you watch a Disney movie or something, family appropriate. Right. But I was on board. I was like, yeah, I would love to go to Del Taco instead of going to Sunday school. That's way more fun. And then they would come back for the third hour, so nobody knew they were gone. So it's like this little nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Like we're living the commandments, but we're really not. And that was pervasive throughout the entire existence of this family culture. It was like, we have to appear on the outside as though everything is perfect, but on the inside we know it's not, and we don't talk about it.
Oh man, we all need to write the
maybe the rules are good for the lower 95.
Exactly.
But for us, we're above.
We're above that. We're above that. I remember one time Barry got up in sacrament meeting to bear his testimony, and Barry and Janice were temple workers. And
now hold on, but I mean, if you think about this, is it a far stretch to rate your children and your husband or basically your family, everybody around you as dark or light? I mean, we're there. Okay. We're so there. And there are so many examples and how to show how we got here. Okay. And so that's trashy. Well, that's some trashy shit when you got to put other people down just so that you can feel it special. You special. What the hell?
In the San Antonio temple, which is one of the reasons that I got totally turned off to going to the temple, because I was thinking, if these people are temple workers, how holy of a place is it really? But I remember Barry getting up and bearing his testimony, and he was working at the desk in the temple, so he was scanning people's recommends as they came in.
That's scary.
And
Lori also worked in the temple on Thursdays
in front of the entire congregation was.
This is the temple. This is the temple. So it's not church for everyone that isn't LDS here doesn't know the temple is different than church. You go to church each Sunday to worship, Sunday school or Del Taco, if you're hanging out with your Cox cousins. And the temple is a place where you can choose to go. It's voluntary for different ordinances for the dead, for yourself.
You gotta be worthy to go.
And so when Barry's working in the temple, it means he's volunteering and being there to help. So go ahead. Yeah, I just want to.
And you have to be called to be a temple worker. You have to be recommended by your bishop and your stake president. And it's not just just anybody could be a temple worker. You have to go through a process to be a temple worker. And so those of us who are in the faith would say, if you're a temple worker, that must mean that you're really living the gospel and you're really doing everything right. And you're an example, because you're officiating in ceremonies in the temple. And so when you go to the temple, you dress up just like you would if you're going to church, but it's a weekday thing. It's closed on Sunday, right? So
you ever heard of temple?
Talking about being at the desk and taking recommends from people who are coming into the temple. And he said, I'm watching these people come in and they're not attractive and they're not dressed well. These are not A-list celebrities. These are not people that I would, go up to on the street and want to talk to or want to be with.
I mean,
but
has he looked
I know
in
they
the
have
mirror?
a temple recommend.
Has he
So
looked
they
in
must
the
be good
fucking
people.
mirror? Okay.
These must be, the kind of people that we want to hang out with and aspire to be, even though they're not very good looking and they're not very attractive and they're not dressed very well. And I just remember I was in the foyer in the lobby and was listening to this over the loudspeakers, and I could not believe what I was hearing. And I actually just had to leave the church, leave the building.
Yeah, leave that temple foyer or whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't stand to listen to that anymore, because here we are in a church who bears the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, and we are supposed to be loving and accepting of everybody. We're supposed to, as the scriptures say, we're not supposed to look on the outward appearance, because God looks at our hearts. And here you have somebody who is a quote unquote pillar in the community, very well respected in the church community. He's a temple worker. So he's set up there as an example. And you've got him in a congregation of people talking about how ugly these people are.
It's 48, damn it, Joe Schmo.
It was one of those moments where
it's French.
I had to just excuse myself because I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and it was upsetting.
Go over there and eat crawfish.
Well, the lack of awareness is stunning to me too.
It's a
For
damn
him
48.
he's not even just saying this to you or his family at the dinner table. He's saying this to everyone here. They all think the same thing that he thinks, that this makes complete sense.
Right?
Yeah, he's introducing the concept of the lower 95 to the greater church population, basically.
Oh my God, right? When I saw her on Web Sleuths, I was like, I was kicking myself in the ass, because Donna was like, you need to get her. And I was like, I will. And I didn't, because I we've been busy with trials, but I would love to. I would love to. You know how fun that would be. You know how fun, and we could do a drinking one. I'll get drunk, and we'll do some word wise and do some reading of the loin fire, right? Some drunk reading, y'all. Oh, and I did see though when Kit raised her mug, her I hate your books, Chad mug from Difficult Research. That was awesome. She didn't even say it. She was just like, she picked it up. She was like, that was awesome. Thank you also for your super chat. I really appreciate that. Damn, Detective Zolder is schooling us in the comments. That's awesome. Keep it coming. Yeah, Kit is amazing, y'all. She is like it's like analyzing their minds through their writing, and it is fascinating. I'm telling you. She's got a good little niche right there. So yeah, the Bible has 144,000 in it. Why? Oh, I would get drunk. We could do a drunk loin fire reading. Yeah, but Kit could do all the reading because she's the best. I'm like, I could listen to her forever. She's really good. And then she breaks it down, you know. Let's get hammered and watch Julie Rowe babble. Dead Twirl Streamers. I'm down. I'm down. We'll do it. I'll do it. It must be around. I must need to sow some oats or something, or maybe go to the foyer. It's a foyer. I was about to say Crusher because I saw your comment and say Crusher. That was insta karma you just witnessed for yourself. That was me about to talk shit, and then it said, "Pow." You saw it here first, okay? Yes, a mind-numbing distraction. Yeah. Well, y'all, I mean, do it responsibly. I'm starting to see a lot of reaction here. Do it responsibly, okay? All right, we'll do it responsibly. While in the Mormon church, I did get the vibe certain people would act like they were better Mormons if it felt like a keeping up with the Joneses religion. And you're not the first person to say that. And I mean, I've witnessed that for myself, and I'm not Mormon. I'm a no-mo. I'm a never-mo. But yeah, definitely. And I mean, but I can see how that would happen in other religions too. Yeah. Where all the old biddies like sit up in the front and, they talk about everybody. the gossipy ones. So, I mean, it's in every religion, but I always say that like this was my introduction to the Book of Mormon, so to speak. This was my introduction into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its culture. And I was like, I went in there with no preconceived anything, expectations. The only thing that I'd known about, the only thing I ever heard about the LDS Church was when I was a kid. On Saturday mornings, we would have to go, and that's only morning or only day, depending on how long it increased, of course. But we could watch cartoons. And so I would go on Saturday mornings into the living room, watch cartoons. And I remember a commercial, compassion, pass it along. And I remember just thinking like, oh, I was a kid. Never saw missionary. I still haven't. I've seen Jehovah's Witnesses. But anyways, but the church has bought 2 pieces of property here in my area. Don't think I don't watch that on a regular basis because it would be, I would have to laugh if they actually built a temple on South Park Road. I would just probably piss myself. Okay. South Park Road. Just saying. But so there's only another option that they could go to. They'd probably pay to have the damn Joseph Smith Way or something, Anyways, I'm sorry, I derailed from what you said, but I added to it. I was giving you my testimony. No, I'm glad you're here. Both communities have made me feel like I'm not off in my assessment, of seeing with my own eyes and witnessing with my own 2 ears, all the behavioral stuff, it doesn't line up. It does not match with what comes out of the mouth. And, oh no, you're not being, oh, I'm like, no, Wyatt's not being disrespectful. Oh, she's just talking shit. That's what we do. We're a very laid back channel here. I'm serious. Like, it'll be accidental that people get put in timeout or block or whatever. I'm telling you, 'cause I don't like to silence people either. They don't either. That's why we work together. Yeah. No, you're good. Fun fact. When old ladies rattle their keys in church, they're oh my God. That's really funny. Oh my God. I needed that. Just saying. Who can fight in the channel, in the chat, when you got good shit like this? Yeah, Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Right. Oh my God, that was the best, John. Where'd you come from? Because I like this. Learn that at the age 10 gagging on delis. I didn't even finish reading it. Learn at an age 10 gagging on a deli. Oh my God, yes. I sound like an old person when I laugh. I'm like, the damn smokers rattle. Smokers laugh. Oh my God. But it made me think of catechism. Okay. I'm looking for something. Hold on. That way I can demonstrate. Told you I'm visual. I don't know. Let's see. I have a big gaudy ring somewhere. Anyways, I'll just use this bracelet. It'll sound about the same. So there was this lady, I forget her name because, I forget everything. But, so, I mean, she would always be like, so now I'm thinking, well, how did you fart with that? Like it wasn't as distracting. I'm just saying. Oh my God. Whew, that was good. Thank you, John. You are our channel comedian. Okay. Oh, wow. This case reminds me of the Kansas Moms Murders 3/30/24. It was a religious cult. It's awful case here. I did not. Okay, now I remember this happening, and I remember just being like a looky-loo, but I've been brailled with all this other stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I believe you. Trust me. I do. I think these things happen way more than we're even aware of. Like, just murders that happen, and then I think there's a lot of fall guys. Okay, and I think it's a hierarchical, I guess I'm saying the right system, and sometimes shit just falls on the person. I'm just saying, you can. I mean, I think that Melanie Gibb and David and even Audrey Baratero, I think that they are, and basically all of them, they built evidence around what they knew and what was being said. And so, oh, damn, Joe. Oh, related to the Karen Reed trial. I bet it's like the Wild West over there. I've heard. I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to stay away. Oh, yeah. Detective's daughter. Kansas is my home state. I went from Toto and Dorothy land and moved to Taterland. She ain't lying either. Oh, from Spokane, Illinois. Said I'm married by Texas, so Baptist dad, but let us choose. So I went Jewish. My older brother was Southern Baptist. My next younger brother. Oh, wow. See, I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's really cool. Autonomy, choices. Just teach your kids. That's all you got to do. That's all we got to do as parents is just do the best we can, hope for the best. And then, we can't live vicariously through them. You know, I mean, I don't get anything from that, but some people do. You know, I mean, I have, like I said, and I can't really say much because, you know, because I'm public, but, how do I say it? Like, I have bonus children. We don't know who I'm talking about, right? Could be past bonus children. Okay. I'm just saying, but yeah, when mothers want to do projects for their children and they end up taking over and doing the whole project. And I'm just like, okay, how does this work? Go back to school then, hooker. You know, don't do your kids' work for them. Help them do it, but don't damn do it for them. You know, how can anybody be proud? The mother or the child or the father or the child? You know, you know, anyway, so amen. Amen. Who agrees with Colleen? Utah and Idaho are not the place to live. Anybody know any other places not to live besides the UK right now? I'd probably be taken to jail by now. Virginia. Lived Kansas. Then after my son graduated, moved to Colorado. Ooh, I heard it's pretty. What about that airport, though? I heard it's pretty satanic. No, I'm just saying. I think, no, I might have went through there one time. It wasn't eventful. But it's pretty from what I've seen on TV. Idaho's beautiful. Utah's beautiful. I'm just like, as long as you just keep it on the landscape, you know. Yeah. Sweden, Gaza, New York City, Germany, Delphi, Indiana. Kind of interesting. Maybe not there. Yeah. I enjoy being sarcastic with Johnny Knoxville on Court TV live chats. He is basically in love with Karen Reed and defends her hair. Her hair? Oh, Lord. Oh, good. See, I like that. My friend is a teacher and said she knows which parents do the homework. Busted. That's awesome. The Mormon Trail was a story I just can't get behind. Yeah. Jesus was Jewish, not LDS, people. Just needed to say that. West Idaho is okay, but Eastern Idaho I stay away from. I grew up getting beat with... John, you are effing hilarious. I grew up getting beat by the Bible Belt. Oh, man. Oh, now I live in Puna. Look, I can't say it. Puna. Puna or Puna? We have a Buna. That's what I'm saying. We also have, okay, Iowa, not Iowa. I'm sorry. All right, we have a town named Iowa, but everybody's like, oh, yeah, I went through Iowa. And I'm like, it's Iowa. Just like the foyer. It's a damn foyer. Coeur d'Alene. You know what I forgot to do while in Boise, Mary, was I forgot to go bring a straw to Camel's Back Park. I sure did. I was like, oh, I see it on the map and I want to go to Camel's Back Park and I want to bring a straw and I want to break it. Anyways, all right. I guess now we're just, I don't even know what to say, but yeah. I just know I don't like the Culticox. I don't know. Again, I slept under the same roof with them people. I need to find those pictures before Brandon's case is adjudicated. It's been 6 years. It's on a hard drive, and I don't understand all that. And my babe is in the hospital, y'all. It sucks. So this is me distracting myself, right? That's what I do. I'll see him at 5:30 in the morning. I kept always, it's just printed, but it's $1 million. It was just to remind me of what Lori was all about. Yeah. I wouldn't even spend this fake $1 million bill printout on her. Nope. Even though you kind of could say that I did because I printed it out because of her. Anyways, I've been to Oklahoma once. with my cousins. I've read some stories out of there though. I've never been to Arkansas, and it's right above us. Anybody ever been to Louisiana? Which part, if you have? Yeah, there's so many things we need to damn do. I write lists all the time. I write notes and forget that I wrote them. Horseback riding is so fun. I used to go, I'd saddle up my own horse and go. One time though, my horse he just started going really fast, and I had my little cousin in front of me. She was little. She was like maybe 4, I guess. And he just started taking off towards the highway. And I was like, oh God, I was like a teenager and like a 14, 15, and I don't know, but I grabbed her and I just kind of held her because we're just going. And so I held her and I kind of leaned tossed her off to the side, but held her off to the side. And then I just kind of let her go, like that, like as least amount possible of her in the ground in a running horse. And then I jumped off. And so anyways, that was crazy. Didn't know what to do with that. I've been bucked off quite a few horses. I had a pony. Well, it wasn't mine, but. And you were born in Utah. Lived in Colorado. They are both beautiful, but the Mormons like adding members. Ask Joe. He said they don't follow do not reproduce on top of Bishop Glenn Pace memo. It says do not reproduce. And he's made me laugh when he said Mormons don't follow that rule or something like that. Kresha, they go to court May 13th, so we will see what happens. Think they all have waged a speedy trial. Waived. Well, but it was May 11th was the deadline, right? You know what was interesting? What Lori did not bring up whenever this happened? Hold on. Okay. I actually have it pulled up. Can you believe? So we're going to watch it. Why? Because I pulled it up. So I think it was right here. She did not say anything about her speedy trial here, which I found interesting. Hold on. Come on.
I'll ask the clerk to read and record the verdict.
Make her stand up.
In the Superior Court of the State of Arizona and for the County of Maricopa, State of Arizona versus Lori Daybell, CR 2021-001704-001, verdict count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Lori Daybell, as to the crime of count 1, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder.
Happy birthday,
occurring
Detective
on
Sarge.
or about
Shit.
July 11, 2019.
11th.
Guilty. Signed, foreperson.
I thought your birthday was
Is
tomorrow.
issued 2 verdicts, so say you one and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the court's own motion, I'll go ahead and ask the clerk to poll the jury.
Juror number 1 is
Or get
issued
on your
true
poll.
verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 2 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 6 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 7 is issued true
Oh, I want
verdict.
to pull word 2 now.
Juror number 8 is issued
Thank you,
true
puzzle
verdict.
pieces. Thank you.
Juror number 9
That's
is
awesome.
issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 10 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 11 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
It's freaky
Juror
that she
number
looks at
12
every
is
one of
issued
them.
true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 13 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number 15 is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Juror number
Oh my
16
God.
is issued true verdict.
Yes.
Everybody in
All right, I'm going to
unison.
ask the jury to retire to the
Happy birthday.
jury room for just about 2 minutes. I need to discuss something with the parties
2 and 2.
before we determine whether you're done or not. So
Yeah.
the admonition still applies. Please
Don't Google this shit right now. Okay.
All right. Please be seated.
Oh,
I'll ask
my
the
bad.
defendant, you indicated earlier perhaps
She does not say
a
anything about
willingness to
that.
stipulate to aggravating factors. Is that something you want to do, or do we want to go through this aggravation phase?
I'm willing to stipulate to it, Your
I
Honor,
thought we
although
just
it
went
is
through the
dangerous
aggravation phase.
is that correct? There's only one statute there's only one sentence.
Well, the jury
only
need to
one
find,
sentence. I
first
wanna
of all,
slap the
whether or
shit
not
out of
this is
her.
a dangerous offense first. Secondly, whether the offense caused physical, emotional, or financial harm to the victim, or if the victim died as a result of the conduct of the defendant caused emotional or financial harm to the victim's immediate family.
Oh, yeah.
And then thirdly, the offense
hold our
involved the
beer.
presence of an accomplice. If you're willing to stipulate to
She
all
is
three of
aggravating.
those, we can do that. If not, we'll bring the jury back in.
I will stipulate to it, Your Honor.
All right.
Yeah, all those men found her guilty. I thought about that too.
You understand that if you stipulate to this instead of a jury finding, well, let me back up. You understand the jury would have to find these aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
All right. And do you understand that if you stipulate to these factors instead of a jury doing it, I could also find additional aggravating factors at sentencing?
Sure.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you in any way to get you to stipulate to these factors?
Here I am.
No.
I will.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to stipulate to these factors?
No.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last
Yes,
24 hours?
that's what I get.
No.
Do you
You
agree
need
that
medication, girl.
pursuant to the jury's verdict of guilt, that this would be a dangerous offense because a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument was used?
I'm stipulating to it.
You agree that that's that this is a dangerous offense?
Correct.
And you're further stipulating
Yes.
that
I know.
as a result of your conduct, at least the victim or the victim's family suffered emotional or financial harm.
Absolutely.
And you're also further agreeing that the offense involved the presence of an accomplice.
And yeah, so like Negan said, just like she's pleading, how are you going to ask for a new
Is the
trial when you're saying all
state
this? you know?
satisfied with the
But
colloquy?
whatever.
Yes, Your Honor, it appears it's no involuntary.
Yes. Or
All right, the court
freaking
does
padlock.
find that the stipulation to those three factors was knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. I will accept the defendant's stipulation. At this time, I'm going to bring in the jury and release them from the admonition. Before we do that, well, as my staff's lining up the jury, do you want to have a sentencing date within approximately 30 days, or
Your next
do
guilty
you want
verdict.
to wait until after the next trial to be sentenced on this matter?
Jam them
What does the
together.
court prefer?
It doesn't matter to me. Maybe you want to talk to your attorneys or advisory counsel about that. We don't have to do it right now.
Why does it sound like
You can do it in a few minutes.
what? Why the hell is he not talking? That didn't match. You understand? I'm gonna go back because that was weird.
Or advisory counsel
His mouth ain't moving.
about that advisory
Prefer.
trial to be sentenced on this matter.
Moving there.
What
I
does the
watched
court
the judge a lot. This
It
one.
doesn't matter to me. Maybe you want to talk to your attorneys or advisory counsel
See?
about that. We don't have to do it
Must be
right
really
now.
delayed.
You can do it in a few minutes.
The hell.
Present again. Please be seated. The jury is present.
Watch his mouth. Oh, it's still not
Please
lining
be
up.
seated. The jury is present again. Members of the jury, you are now released from the admonition. This concludes your jury service. I want to thank you for your jury service in this matter and your attention in this matter. You can
You're
talk to anyone about any aspect of this case that you want to at this point, but you also have the right to not talk to anyone about any aspect about this case.
Yeah.
I just need to take care of a few more matters, but if you want to wait for me in the jury room, I'd like to thank you personally.
Happy Mother's Day
and
to you
then
too.
You can be on your way. If you don't want to wait for me, that's fine as well. But you are released to go at this time. All
Yeah,
right?
don't damn flatter
Thank you.
yourself.
All right, the jury.
There you go. Don't flatter yourself. Who's eating crackers or something? Sound like some damn horses. Oh, I don't like this lag. If there weren't actual
All right, please be seated.
oh, here we go. There you go. Lefty. Lefty.
Do you want to talk to your advisory councils briefly to discuss whether or not you want to proceed to sentencing or wait until after the next trial?
If we could just wait till the,
I think it's
after the
this
next
one.
trial, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll hold
The
off
next
on
one.
ordering a pre-sentence report until we resolve the next remaining case. I've already set the dates, and we have a status conference in mid-May on that.
It does.
So unless there's
Okay.
anything else from the state's
Narcissist
perspective.
much? Joseph Smith.
From anything else from your perspective?
Nope.
As long as it's translated
All right,
correctly.
we'll be at recess on this matter.
Okay. And somebody said the other day, I don't know if it's true or not, I didn't research it myself, but somebody said that King James was a Freemason. I was like, well, there you go. That's why it's the King James version, right? Don, I'm going to add you to the stage without you knowing. You ready? Oh, well, I guess we're going to go. Only because I'm cold. Noah's number was 13. I guess. Wait, no, I take that back because I don't know if it changed over the years, because in one picture I have of him, oh, now I'm going to have to go look at freaking pictures and distinguish. But we'll have Allison back Sunday. And, plus, my Uncle Jerry had texted last Sunday. Let me see if it was while I was live. And thank you, Chuck, for saying Happy Mother's Day. That was very sweet. I don't know if he's in here, but he had texted me earlier. Let's see. Uncle Jerry. They got the bitch. Anyway, he said, hi, Crusher, my dear. I watched your interview with Allison tonight. It was very good and I enjoyed it. But I'm going to solve a mystery right now and tell you that Charles always batted left-handed and threw left-handed. I played ball with him for years, so I know. Just for the record. So there's that. I'm just saying, it was crazy though when that picture uploaded opposite. I mean, that's wild, right? I mean, like, come on now. And then it looks the same both directions, basically. That's kind of different. I don't know if it's just the way the letters are shaped, but it could have been 23 or 83. I don't know. You tell me. All right, y'all. Guess we're going to go now. Go be bored. Okay, but I'm cold. I'm cold. So, then I got to go sit along with my thoughts, and that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. But I'll schedule a live stream somewhere in between now and see you next Tuesday. Well, Joe, I'm going to ask you now while we're in front of all these people. Are we going to go on Tuesday for our next dive into Bishop Glenn L. Pace, the Pace memo on See You Next Tuesdays? See You Last Tuesdays. We do cult and the other one. So maybe Monday or Wednesday or maybe during the day. I don't know. I just kind of want to get it out before trial prep. It'll be my last hoorah anyway, so I don't have a trial to prep for after this one. And so I'm going to need to find me a hobby or a job. It's both. It's both of them. Like we say here, it's both of them. I hope y'all have a good night. Oh, Chez la Mer. I hope I said that right. Late to the live, but I think the difference between the investigation into Charles and Brandon is because so many other people from Brandon's neighborhood called in about the shooting. That's a good theory. Very good. But and we're leaving. We're just now leaving, but y'all, let's get in. y'all go to Kit's channel and harass her. Don't harass her, but just be like, come on. Challenge accepted. Accept the loin fire Daybell drink challenge, or so. I don't know. We'll make something out of it. I'm watching Donna, make sure she's not like. Anyways, it was fun hanging out with you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. You are proof of this. Bye, y'all. Thank you.